Remember how like when I wanted to do video reviews and stuff, how I said it was really awkward talking to the camera. I wasn't able to get over that.
I was just talking to my wife about this. I said, "You remember when I went to my very first Transformers convention? We were talking to Bobby Skullface, and Levy's like, "Eep, I don't want to talk to Bobby Skullface. He's too famous." I'm like, you did too.
I did not say that. Get out of here.
And Mike's like, go talk to him. You want to do toy reviews. He's a toy reviewer. He'll give you good advice. And you're like, eep. I don't want to talk to Bobby.
I had talked to Bobby before then.
Okay. Maybe in the mirror. Maybe in the mirror you were practicing that.
Oh, get out of here. That was not how it went.
That was the first time I went to a convention. And that's when you talked to Bobby about doing toy reviews. Yeah. So I do remember.
I didn't want to talk to him about that. You know,
and I'm talking like him. I'm talking like Hung, and they're like, so I'm like, these are just like two normal guys. And I'm like, and then they're like, you were talking to Bobby Skullface. I'm like, who? I'm like, who's Bobby? What does he do? Like, oh, he's a toy reviewer. And Levy's like, oh, yeah. He's like,
that is not how that went.
Selected memory loss.
Get out of here. That is not how it went. You are misrepresenting me.
So funny. You were so starstruck.
I was not. Get out of here.
You were too.
Bite me.
Welcome. You have now tuned in to the Blackout and Shout podcast with your host, Mike Kincaid.
Can I tell you that Baby Yoda just annoys the shit out of me?
That's because you haven't watched The Mandalorian.
Oh, look at Baby Yoda, so huge.
Levy Curry.
Some people do all sorts of crazy stuff, like dinosaur romance novels. Those are really a thing. Taken by the T-Rex. A billionaire dinosaur forced me. Ravaged by the raptors.
I wonder if there's audiobooks of them.
And Jed Vargo.
He was always like well known for wearing the Nazi outfit on.
Captain Kangaroo?
Captain Kangaroo.
Didn't he have the...
No. And he did not dress up as a Nazi either.
So sit back. Mike, are you... Listen to me. Relax. Say, transform and roll out.
And enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 708 divided by 6, which for all you non-math people is 118 of the famous Blackout and Shout podcast. Well, I got some background music for me and everything. So this week, Mike is not here. He is in, I don't know actually where he's at, but he's playing a gig someplace. So we got a very special guest co-host to join us on our wonderful adventure this evening. A Mr. Yule of the oh my god, I forgot your podcast. Nerds have spoken, right? Wait, that's wrong. Oh my god, I forgot correct. It. Is that right? Nerds have spoken?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I thought it was like nerds have shouted spoken, or no, I thought I'm like spoken doesn't sound like the right word. That's the wrong word. Anyway, so Yule from Nerds Have Spoken has more than graciously agreed to join us this evening. So he is here, right?
I'm
Yule?
so very happy, man. All it took was 2 frozen burritos and permission to play. I'm happy to join.
Digitally, directly, diagonally across from me is my other acute and lovable co-host of Levy Curry. How are you, Levy?
Oh, please. It's just Levy.
I was saying to my wife earlier, I said, I got a Filipino sandwich going on here. You know?
That's right.
And I'm the meat. And I'm Jed Vargo, your other co-host, not as cute and lovable as Yule or Levy. Seems but this co-host definitely has the most unique first names, I think, out of all the other podcasts this week.
Yeah. You're the tocino in this Filipino meat sandwich.
Yeah, that reference is lost on me. I don't know what tocino is.
Just know that tocino is the sweet meats.
Mm.
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, yeah.
That and longanisa, right, Yul?
Mm-hmm.
Filipino
Those are the
represent.
breakfast meats. That's right.
It's the sweet.
They're also the reason why. Just because of y'all, I did end up buying Little Sweet Funko Pop.
I didn't even know there was one. That's really funny.
Yeah, I didn't believe it until I saw it. When I saw it, I was like, you know what? I have to. All the times that you guys would emulate it or channel Little Sweet, I was like, I got to now.
That's like everything with the Spinister. You guys were talking about Spinister on all the bot, shots, bots, and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm like, I gotta buy a Spinister. And then I'm like, what am I doing? And I just like cancel it. I'm like, I don't even know or even want this character. So why am I spending $40?
Like $40 for Spinister?
Well, I forget how much it was. Yeah. Well, I don't even know what the price was in Spinister. Maybe it was $30. I don't know.
It was a deluxe, so
yeah, it was BBTS. So I'm sure they upcharged it a little bit. Anyway, so speaking about things that you got, we'll let our guest star this evening go first. So you'll tell me, did you get anything these past couple of weeks? And do you have any shout outs, or did you want to plug any projects that you might have?
Okay, let me first start by saying, I am from the illustrious group known as The Nerds Have Spoken, which is on we record on Sundays, and show goes on Thursdays, I believe, like when there isn't errors.
Wow.
Thursdays are usually when it goes on.
Cool.
But yeah, this week, you're gonna love this. I shared a picture of it to Levy earlier this week. I got you guys. A lot of people, well, not to say a lot, but people who know me in the community know that I'm one of the cancers of the collecting community. I collect a bunch of Funko Pops, and and so, but the pops that I get, I think, are so cool that it would warrant the. You know what? I get it, Yule. I get why you got that. And in this week, mine's was Drizzt and Guinevere combo.
Oh, nice.
From Dungeons and Dragons. So anybody who read R.A. Salvatore back in the day, you know what I mean? When you see that, you're just like, oh man, look at that. Him and his lavender eyes and his scimitar, his twin scimitars with Guinevere in a chibi format.
Nice.
Total win. I see why you did it, Yule.
Did you get the Hasbro figure that came out a couple months ago?
I didn't, but I
Ooh.
That's next in my wheelhouse. The only problem is I don't know where I would display it. And the problem with jumping into that wheelhouse too is like now what else am I going to get to go with it?
I was hoping that they're going to keep going with that line. So maybe we'll get like a couple more characters.
If they make a Zacnophane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Levy just shared a picture. It came in a 2-pack and everything. Very cool.
Yes.
Only at Target. Or no, only at GameStop.
Yeah. I thought the same thing too. The Target, the @ sign looked so much like a Target. So.
It's really funny. I saw that. I thought it was a Target and symbol, and I immediately had like anger and disdain toward it.
Yeah, Target does that anymore.
Does this have to do with, is this residual pain from like G.I. Joe?
Yeah, exactly.
That and Marvel Legends and
Marvel Legends. Really. What is that called? The Pavlovian effect, I guess, right?
Yeah, the Pavlovian response.
Yeah, I feel like rang the bell, in my mind, and I immediately had anger.
That's how I feel about SDCC. I get a burn every time because I live in San Diego and I have entitlement issues. I feel like I live here. I should be able to come in. I go full on Karen when it comes to SDCC.
Yeah. I was in San Diego a few years ago for work, actually. It was before we were doing any of this stuff, or I was in any of the groups or knew anybody from there. They were doing this device, which I'm sure it was many years ago. I'm sure it's like a lot more advanced now, but it was a thing where it was kind of like it looked like a little mini answering machine, and it had this hockey puck that hooked up to a wire, and you kind of slung it around your neck and you put it over your pacemaker, and it would transmit data from your pacemaker to your doctor. And we had to design the software for that.
dang, I didn't,
Yeah.
you know, and that was like back then. I can only imagine what kind of technologies has done since.
I think they have it all like through like devices now with your cell phone and stuff, where you just kind of like hold it over or whatever. So, and it wasn't like where they could reprogram it and you could accidentally kill somebody. It was read only. So, whoops, that was a bug.
Oh, you know what?
So,
I did get one more thing of note this week, actually. On New Comic Book Day, I picked up a foil cover of Batman 108 under the James Tynion run.
mhm.
Now, the significance of this is that Batman 108 is the first appearance or first full appearance of Miracle Molly. Now, James Tynion's been making a bunch of original characters all of last year and this year. So these are brand new characters and either good guys or bad guys. We'll see how time goes that he created for Batman's gallery, you know. So these guys are either going to be really awesome next generation bad guys or good guys, like I guess the next Harley Quinns. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So and Banes of the world. Miracle Molly. She's like a cyborg, and I guess what they call her Miracle Molly because she can, I believe, erase bad memories from people by, I guess, I don't know if it's drugs or like find some way to that's her gimmick so far. And she's like a tech. She's a tech. I guess a tech villain. Which, to be honest, I don't know how many tech villains that Batman really has that you can that I can tell off the top of my head. You have to be like a real serious, I guess, Batman reader to know all that. But I'm not. I'm nowhere near that. I'm more of I get mixed up between the cartoon animated series and movies.
Well, when you say tech villain, like, do you mean like super high tech, like cyborg? Yeah, like, not that cyborg's like a villain, but, or like just somebody who uses gadgets and technology.
Yeah, like someone to that effect. Someone who's more of I guess a hacker / tech, techie. No.
So I was gonna say, like, Mr. Freeze would qualify, I would think, if it was just like gadgets and technology.
True.
Yeah,
I guess so.
He had his one trick pony though. He froze stuff.
Nice.
But I mean, his suit is like very high tech.
It's like kind of like one of those things where you have a character as old as Batman. Internet of Things villain. I will use the cloud against you, Batman. You cannot defeat my AWS server. I was gonna say, when you have a rogues gallery or a character as old as Batman, and you
get DDoS, Batman.
Oh no! Not my denial of service.
It's in the BIOS.
But yeah, I mean, you could have another character called Blue Screen of Death.
Red Ring of Death.
Yeah,
for the Xbox apps.
But I was gonna say, you have these rogues that, like, the bad guys have been around for so long. It's either you change them around so that they're, into that like new technology type of thing, or they're just kind of like, stuck in their original design that they were made like back in the 40s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When they didn't have computers or TVs. But you didn't get anything else, Yule? That's all you got?
Yeah, you know what? It's the thing is, my car registration came up this month, and man, I did not anticipate how much it was going to cost. Because I've been paying for the same car for the last 11, 12 years at a comfortable price of like 100 something. And this was the first year anniversary of my RAV4, and that son of a bitch, oh my gosh, cost me $450 to register. I was like, what the hell? A RAV4? This is not even a premium vehicle.
Yeah.
I was like, holy smokes. I didn't feel as bad when I learned that my dad, we bought a vehicle at the same time. He got a Tacoma, and his registration in California was $600. I was like, oh gosh damn. That's about it. Other than No, that's it.
Cool. Okay.
Not, well, yeah. I'm not part of any major group or anything. Just I hang out with y'all. Toy Detox is my other home, but we haven't really done anything in a while, so I didn't want to bring nobody else's hopes up. I love that show, man. And the reason, because it's a little more on the social side of things versus the straight nerding part of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we just haven't been able to get our act together as far as like actually being able to record. And right. It's for me it's great because we did have something that was definitely different from the rest of that of the group. But it's definitely, I don't know, like the issues we bring up are definitely not for everybody. I'm sure they're tired of it because they'd rather hear about nerd stuff than how our takes on the goings of the world. So.
Right. Now you're gonna have to record something. You gave everybody expectations that are listening to this show now.
I know, right? And you know what? But if it does, if and when we do record, expect a lot of red pill content coming out. I've been living in the manosphere for a good year, so and it's been fun.
Levy.
Yes.
How about you? Do you have anything? Did you get anything? Do you have any shouts? Are you working on any projects you'd like to plug? Do tell.
Let me think here. Now, first I'd like to give a shout out to the guys at the Nerds of Spoken podcast. They invited me to come on 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
So I recorded an episode with them. I had a great time. So thank you, Yule. Thank you to Jason and everyone else there. So that was a blast. Let's see here. I didn't get anything like toy wise. I've been really paring it back, I think, lately. Because I mentioned last time and probably time before that I'm just being more judicious in what I buy in terms of toys. Plus, also I have a tendency to let my stashes build up to ridiculous levels before I ship them. So
Baldwin drop levels.
Yeah, but I just got my shipping notification for my neutrophil white blood cell figure from Figma for Cells at Work.
Yeah.
Anime. Yeah. So he's coming. I'll probably have him by Monday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it though, because I haven't. I went and looked to see if Figma had announced or put up for pre-order any other characters from Cells at Work, and I haven't seen anything. And that figure, that White Blood Cell, has been up for pre-order for like probably almost a year now.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they don't come up with any of the figures, I mean, at least come up with Red Blood Cell.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, but if they don't, I might just. I'm not even sure if I'm going to open it right now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think I might wait to see if they come out with Red Blood Cell soon. If they don't, I might just sell it.
That's how I felt about the Cowboy Bebop when that came out. They had Spike, and then they had Vicious, and then I'm like, oh, come on, keep them going. Do the rest of the team, do them all, and then because everybody does Spike and Vicious. There's Player Sky. There's I think there was Players. There was another one, and there was Rebel Tech, I think, and there was a bunch of them. And I was just like, you just those two. I'm like, come on, why don't you do the rest of the crew at least?
Yeah, at least give us an Ein.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I made a huge mistake. I was like, I was. When it came to Cowboy Bebops and Pops, I kept seeing everyone but Spike. And so I didn't pick any of them up because I was waiting to find for a Spike. The problem was I let it go for so long that all of those Pops actually go for like anywhere over $100 each now. And Spike going for the most. But still,
that's crazy.
I was like, shit. If I had just gotten them back then at the standard price that it came with at $10, Oh man, all I'd have to worry about was trying to get Spike for the unrealistic for outrageous prices. But now all of them are priced outrageous, to include Ein. So
what's the standard retail of a pop? Like 10, 20 bucks?
10, $12. $10 to $12. That's the MSRP, and that was back then when the before inflation prices of like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. Now it's out of control. At least as far as the secondary market for Spike, because it's been not just Spike, but like all of Cowboy Bebop, because it's been vaulted. So kind of like I guess what they used to do for Beanie Babies back in the day.
Oh yeah. My wife used to have she had a garbage bag full of those things.
Is that where they ended up?
They did. They got all spilled out. I took a look out of them. I checked to see if there was anything that was worth anything on there, and there was nothing worth anything in there. So they basically went on the curb with a big free sign on it. So that was about it.
They weren't worth a cotton they were stuffed with.
No, I actually think the display tree that they had for those things was worth more than the actual.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, and it was a weird display thing too. It was like a upside down wooden umbrella that kind of had like all these posts sticking out that you could put the Beanie Babies hanging off of them.
When did Beanie Babies first come out? They were like in the 90s, weren't they?
96, 97-ish,
yeah.
I believe.
Okay, yeah, that was about that. Yeah, that makes sense. That was about the height of the collector craze. The 90s collector craze, where like everybody was trying to make a quick buck off of collectors' items.
Yeah,
and whatnot. They bought all those Power of the Force figures, the Star Wars Power of the Force figures. They were worth money, and now like they're worth nothing. They'll never be worth anything.
It was that whole collector craze in the mid 90s that basically put the comic books under that we always talk about, and then that just kind of cascaded over to toys and everything else as collectibles.
Well, that drove Marvel to declare bankruptcy,
right?
So
But here's the ultimate irony, Jed. Here's the ultimate irony. Depending on the book, some of them go for thousands. Like first appearance of Carnage at a 9.8.
Yeah,
going near 1K now.
I have like 6 or 7 of those.
Really.
Yeah.
Deadpool's first appearance is 1.5 to 2K now.
I have 2 of those, I think.
Well, I mean, honestly though, those are just a very, very, very small sampling of all the books that were released.
Oh yeah,
in that time that everyone was just going gaga for. So,
well,
I mean, of course, like first appearances of like popular characters, they're always, it doesn't matter where they're what era they're from. They're usually going to be worth a decent amount of money at the very least.
Yeah. The key issue is correct.
Yeah. But
back then, people were looking for ones instead of characters. They didn't think about that back then. They were thinking, if you get a number 1 or a number 2, it's like worth many more dollars than any first appearance. And then when the first appearance of Gambit went crazy, that's when everybody was like, maybe we should start looking for first appearances of other characters and start collecting those. And then like a lot of other first appearance books like started jacking up.
Yeah.
But
oddly enough though, like the first appearance of Spawn, like Spawn number 1, that really isn't worth much.
Well, so I was just gonna say, like, what you started with X Factor was the catalyst. Actually, everyone went crazy over X Factor because he was original X-Men, and it was number 1 book, and they made 250,000 books of that. I think maybe I'm wrong, but it was really high. It was a high run for that time, and everyone bought it. And then, of course, the X-Men rebooted, and they started with like, they didn't reboot, but they had another line just called X-Men, and there was all those variant covers and the fold-out cover and stuff. Yeah, and those sold like million books or something crazy.
No, it's the best-selling comic book issue of all time.
Yeah, it was great. And then Marvel got greedy, and they started printing 5-6 variant covers for the same issue, hologram covers, foil covers. Yeah, and too many books. And then when they printed too many books, that's where they went bankrupt because they had too much stock and nobody was buying it anymore. Because all the kids like, oh, I got number one, X-Men or whatever, and they go into the comic book store and like, how much should I get for this? And like the price guy would say like $100, and they'd say like, oh, I'll give you $5 for it. They're like, $5? What do you mean $5? It's worth $100. They're like, yeah, but everyone has one. They're like, we're looking for 60s books. Got any 60s books? No.
Yeah, it's gonna 10-year-old. You got any 60s
right?
books?
Yeah, you got any like 60s books? No, I don't get any 60s books. Well,
Yeah,
sorry,
I didn't think
man.
you did. Get out.
Yeah, here's $5 for your collection. They're like, oh, how am I gonna eat? I'm like, I don't know. Not my problem.
I know where.
Right. Same thing with Spawn.
Invested in comic books as a financial. I don't know where I'm going.
Investments portfolio. I know what you're talking about.
Portfolio, right?
Yeah, people thought about
investment portfolio.
So when Spawn came out, McFarlane was like the hottest item in the world at that point, and that was the first issue of Image. So everybody bought that. Everyone bought 10 of them. Yeah. So everybody has one, and that's why it's not really worth that money.
Strangely enough, like issue number 2 is the valuable book.
Right. Exactly. Yep. All those first issues that came out then, was it Shadowhawk, Wildcats, Supreme,
Savage
all
Dragon,
those.
Youngblood.
Well, Savage Dragon's different. Savage Dragon is actually still a pretty popular book.
Yeah.
Larson broke
believe
gold
it or not,
that.
Spawn is making a huge comeback. So much so that they're making 4 books of Spawn.
Wow.
4 different, separate.
That's good. Good for Todd. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Did you watch that documentary?
I did. Sure did.
That's such a great documentary.
I must have watched that sucker like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. It was Delevi, if you haven't seen, what was it, Sci-Fi Channel? Yeah, they did a documentary on Todd McFarlane.
I think I did watch it like some time ago.
It was on YouTube. Well, it is on YouTube, I think, for free. So it's really good.
Yes. It's on YouTube. That's exactly where I've been watching it. That and the story of Image too.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane is still my favorite Spider-Man artist.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, the way he drew Spider-Man, that's how I judge all other Spider-Man art. So, I mean, to me, no one's come closer to how I envision Spider-Man.
Yeah, he left and Larson picked up, and I hated Larson's art. And Larson's a good artist. But it was just dumb. But back then,
I just didn't like his style. I didn't like his style, and I think it was like also colored by the fact that it's not Todd,
right?
But like at the time, no one was putting the level of detail into their pictures into their drawings that Todd McFarlane was doing, and like no one like was putting Spider-Man in those strange contorted poses like he was. And so it's just like
it's very dynamic.
Yeah, it was dynamic. It was colorful. It was highly detailed. Like all of the line work and all the little dots and everything. Just just it was just.
Well, Liefeld was doing that. Liefeld was doing that just the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's another good one that you could. I love watching that one over and over with the McFarlane, Liefeld, and Stanley.
Yeah,
that little interview or documentary thing they have going there. He's like, "Why do these heroes all have all these pockets?
Why don't they have any feet?
How they getting changed so quick? How they get changed so fast if they have all these pockets they got to put on?"
Who actually adopted Todd's style really well? Freaking Greg Capullo.
Yes.
I did not like Greg Capullo's work when he first started, but then when he started taking over for Spawn, when Todd decided to go with like more like the publishing route, I guess, and other entrepreneurial avenues. His Greg Capullo's working like he like adopted that really highly detailed style that Todd McFarlane pioneered, and his work looks almost just as good.
I agree.
I've my favorite artist has been and will always be to this day is Mark Silvestri. He's my favorite comic book artist of all time.
Yeah, I like his work.
He's my favorite overall in general too.
I'm a Jim Lee man myself, but I do like his work. Will Portacio He also did some really good work. It was unfortunate, like he was, with his sister passing away and other things. Like he just wasn't able to get the work done on Wetworks like he wanted to. So it didn't get to read too much of that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, unfortunately, his health did take a toll at the worst possible time, or like all those issues started to take a toll at the worst possible time. Because I remember when in my community in San Diego, Wills was a big deal because we're like, dude, he's Filipino. He's in this industry, and we all looked up to somebody who's Filipino in the industry, and his book just came out way after the fact. Wetworks was already was too late in the game, but I was still happy. I still picked it up because the work was good. Plus, it had Grail, who was like the first Filipino character in Image. So I liked
I liked Wetworks because like when I was reading it, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I definitely I saw what I felt were inspirations from the White Wolf World of Darkness games. If you remember those, Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, because of the Vampire Werewolf War. Because like when you saw the promotional material for Wetworks, you thought it was like a Special Forces team, and they had like these liquid metal skins that they that acted as armor for them and stuff like that. And you thought it was just going to be like a paramilitary force, and it was going to be kind of like just mundane military shooting action kind of comic book, right? But then like when you get into it, it's like all this occult stuff and vampires and werewolves and fucking war between these creatures and stuff like that. And yeah, it was really unique. It was really interesting.
I agree.
But unfortunately, it was like 3, 4, 5 months between issues.
Yeah, I was about that too. Yeah, it was a pleasant combination of everything 90s art that I liked, and since I was an occult fan, I love the premise.
Yeah, I was really heavily into the World of Darkness RPGs at that time. So
interesting. So what'd you get?
It was definitely really nice to see that.
What'd you get besides the white blood cells?
Like I said, I really didn't get anything. I got a new wireless headset, a surround sound headset.
Ooh. Is there RGBs on it?
Yeah, it's a Logitech G935 headset, and I also got a new mouse because my old mouse kind of started taking a shit. So I got a Logitech G502 Hero, both with RGB. Mr. Josh Lawrence, just so you know, because we all know how much Josh loves his RGB. Ha
You got RGBs that have RGBs on them.
And I'm actually looking at a new keyboard. I'm looking at a new keyboard that Josh is just gonna love. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Is it the programmable light one? That one?
Oh, it does have that, yeah. Right. But yeah, so other than that, I didn't get anything. So
shoutouts?
I gave my shout out to the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. Like I said, they invited me on a couple weeks ago, so that was really great. I had a great time there.
Any
I
projects?
think you're in the lineup next, right, Jen? At some point, I know Jen. You got to do this.
I was actually first in the lineup, and I had to pass.
Yeah, I heard.
because of everything that happened with my dad passing away and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure I'm heavy hitter comes last, right? You?
That's right.
Look at that! Yeah, beautiful rainbow of just colors of. What is that 16.7 million colors that you can play?
Yeah, these are two different keyboards, but they have very similar looks. So,
yes, the rainbow.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely looking at getting these. And actually, the top one's only like $42, and then the bottom one's like $50.
There's really expensive ones that I know that you can actually program. Each key is like an LED display, so you can actually change the key font and stuff like that, and how it looks and what letter it should be or whatever.
Yeah. You can also with those keyboards, you can program the RGB to radiate outwards with each key press.
So
when you press a key, the light will radiate outwards to the other keys.
That's funny.
Which, I mean, the more RGB you have, the faster your system is. We all know this. So,
see, I have a backlit keyboard, that's lit up. but it's not RGB. It just goes on and off.
Yeah.
It dims a little bit, and then it goes off. But that's all I really needed. I didn't need it to do Pride Parade or anything like that for me while I'm playing a game.
I mean, I still want to get those RGB cables for my system. The PCIe cables for the graphics card and the 24-pin cable for the motherboard. I want to get those that light up and whatnot. You can have them. You can program them so that you have pulses of light going in, so make it look like the pulses of light are going to the motherboard and the graphics card. Or you can do all sorts of different patterns and stuff. It looks really, really awesome. I really just want to turn my computer into the RG beast.
I've been down with the Tron look since 2000.
Yeah. So
Tron Red or Tron Blue?
Oh, it's multiple. I usually go with the amber, and then I switch over to blue sometimes. Yes, gotta switch it up. Red's a little hard on the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, the more that Josh complains about RGB, the more I want to get just to see him, get angrier.
That's terrible, Levy. It's a horrible thing.
Oh, I even have an RGB headphone rest, like a headset rest or stand. Yeah, like a stand it's got RGB on it.
Does it flash while it's charging and all that good stuff?
No, it's just a simple. Steady light. So, but you can change the color, and or you can have it be multiple colors. But it's just a steady light. Doesn't pulse or nothing. As far as plugs, do you want to talk about what we were talking about, or?
Oh, the project. I mean, that's up to you. Yeah. It's very early, but that's all up to you.
Okay. Well, I had proposed an idea to Jed because I used to do toy photography. I'd gotten away from it, but I'm looking to get back into it. And I talked to Jed and asked him if he'd like to collaborate with me, where I photograph the figures, and then he comes up with backgrounds for them to a setting to put them in, whether it be 3D or 3D render or 2D or whatever, however he wants to do it. But so we're going to be working on that. Today I just picked up foam boards because my old ones got ruined because of the water and shit.
Oh, right.
But I picked up a set of black and white foam boards.
Oh, cool.
For that. So hopefully I'll be able to get started on that soon. Because I got a bunch of ideas that I'd like to do. So
are they curved?
But yeah, so
or are they curved or are they curved or flat?
No, I got flat ones for the bottom, and then I got the folding project board for the back. So
sometimes it's easy,
just so it'll stand up.
Sometimes it might actually be even easier to use a white poster board that you can kind of curve, so that way it reduces the amount of shadows that you get.
Oh, okay. I understand.
And those are that's 25 cents, I think, for a poster board.
Yeah,
maybe 50 now. I don't know.
Yeah, I can probably take that foam board and probably just clip the thing to it. That way, I don't have to get a stand or whatever to hold it up.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
So,
cool. I was gonna say stay tuned, and then if everything comes out really good, then maybe we'll make some prints of it and sell them up on hiddentoys.net for all your cool art print needs.
I think I may have remember. I don't want to say the name here because I don't want anybody to steal it from me. But remember the name that I had come up with for my YouTube channel and stuff that I was going to start and everything.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I think I'm going to have to change it because I found out that there's actually a podcast named that.
Oh really?
So yeah.
Did you guys know that there's a podcast named Look Out and Shout?
No, come on.
I'm gonna have to get my lawyers. I have my lawyers talk to their lawyers. I'm gonna send a cease and desist.
Oh man.
No, it's there's some guy, he has it's not really a podcast, but he does a YouTube channel, and one of his, he does reviews, Transformer reviews, and it's Look Out and Shout.
Oh. I see.
How old is it? Him up.
Is it after we started?
Very brand new. I think he's on episode 7 or something.
Okay. He probably got wind of our podcast and thought, those idiots, they got it all wrong. It's Look Out and Shout.
Lookout and Shout is so dumb. It's not what they say. Blackout and Shout sounds a whole lot better. It's cooler.
It's a direct quote.
I'm not taking any responsibility or flack for that name, because that was you and Mike that came up with that, well, not me.
Mike came up with that, and I was just like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
You're like, is that what he says? Okay.
I hadn't come up with any better names. Plus, Blackout and Shout's kind of cool name,
It is a cool name.
I like it.
And now when people ask, it's like, it's Lookout and Shout. I was like, yeah, you know what? We thought it was Blackout and Shout, so we went with that. So,
Now I just argue with people. And I said, no, he says Blackout and Shout. You got to listen a little bit better. That's what it says in the script. I'm like, oh, and they've never changed from the script ever.
Yeah, they never changed scripts.
You're looking at an old version of the script.
Yeah. But
we said that to Gort the one time, right? He goes, it's Lookout. I said, but Blackout and Shout sounds cooler. And he's like, no, it doesn't. He's like, no, it isn't. I'm like, yeah, it is. He's no, it's not. I'm like, well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Yeah, man.
So I did also want to mention that with me getting back into toy photography and everything, remember how when I wanted to do video reviews and stuff, how I said it was really awkward talking to the camera, and I wasn't able to get over that.
I was just talking to my wife about this yesterday or today, actually. I said, do you remember when I went to my very first Transformers convention or show? And I said I went with Mike and Levy and John. I said and Lewis. I said, and we were talking to Bobby Skullface. And I'm like, and Levy's like, eep! I don't want to talk to Bobby Skullface. He's too famous. I'm like, who? You did too.
I did not say that. Get out of here.
And Mike's like, go talk to him. You want to do toy reviews? He's a toy reviewer. He'll give you good advice. And you're like, eep! I want to talk to Bobby.
I had talked to Bobby before then.
Okay, maybe in the mirror. Maybe in the mirror you were practicing that.
Oh, get out of here! That was not how it went.
He's like,
I know exactly what conversation. And this actually happened at I think it was at New Jersey Collector Con.
Yeah, it was in Jersey. Yeah.
And that was not the first time I talked to Bobby. Okay.
That was the first time I went to a convention. And that's when you talked to Bobby about doing toy reviews. Yeah. So I do remember.
I just didn't want to talk to him about that. And
I'm talking like him. I'm talking like Hung, and they're like, so I'm like, these are just like two normal guys. And I'm like, and then they're like, you were talking to Bobby Skullface. I'm like, who? Who the fuck's Bobby Skullface? Like that guy. I'm like, oh, Bobby. Oh, okay. I'm like, who's Bobby? What does he do? He's like, oh, he's a toy reviewer. And Levy's like, oh, yeah. He's like,
that is not how that went.
Selective memory loss.
Get out of here. That is not how it went.
That's
you are misrepresenting me.
It's so funny. You were so starstruck.
I was not. Get out of here.
You were too.
Bite me.
That was back. This is how long ago it was. This is back when they were showing off Fans Toys Jetfire before it came out.
Oh, wow. Before he was even called Phoenix.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Fans Toys Jetfire. It was that really bad one that came out, DACA Toys.
Chronos.
I thought it was Fans Toys. Are you sure?
Yes. Fans Toys never showed anything at NJCC.
Did they? Okay, then I know it was Jetfire then. Okay.
Yeah, it was the DACA Toys Chronos.
All right. Well, anyway, so that's how long ago it was. That's dating,
Yeah, that's circa 2013, 2014. Yeah,
that's about right, I think. Yeah. 6-7 years ago. That sounds about right. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Levy, I do remember the experience. I do remember the encounter that you had. And yeah, I do remember you asking him for advice on toy reviews.
Actually, Mike asked him for the advice.
Because you were too starstruck to talk to him.
I wasn't starstruck. Get out of here. I just didn't want to freaking... Oh, my God.
I was one of those cats who had the great idea, but not enough money to play at the time.
Yeah.
It's too late now, but at the time, if I had the money, if I was to do toy reviews, it was going to be based solely on congruency.
Explain that.
Yeah, like, okay, so you know how some toys look like they match well with each other versus others,
Sure.
since there were so many different third-party toys out there.
Right.
What I would do is, like, I would try, my idea at the time was to try to put like certain toys next to other toys of different brands to see if they look like they belonged together.
Oh, like
does that make sense?
Engineering was the same? Like it was the same type of engineering and like mold?
No, something more simple than that. More like the eye test. Like if you put two, you could clearly tell if like certain themes are, make more sense with each other than others. Like, for example, remember when there was that one company that created the twins, the twin, when they're both twins, but they transformed into different vehicles, right?
No, I don't remember that at all. That's
the Autobot clones.
Yeah, the clones. Yeah, the Autobot clones.
Autoraker and Fastlane.
Yeah, I forgot what company made that, but it looked. Okay. But you can tell that if you put that next to Fans Project stuff, it looks like it makes sense with each other. Versus if you put that with TFC toy stuff or Warbatron, you know what I mean? That was the theme that I was trying to do.
Or
the
like
design fingerprint was very similar.
Or like Baver, Starscream, and a roll of tin foil. Just balled up.
Well, when you put it that way, yes.
The congruency of these two items are very similar.
like things that look like they make sense that they would mesh well.
Right.
I forgot the name of the photographer. It kills me because this guy was good. Oh my gosh, his name escapes me at the top of my head right now. But he would do these awesome photos too of like different third-party toys going at each other kind of stuff. And that's where I was like, you know what? Yeah, those are completely separate, different brands, but that totally makes sense with this. And and from that point on, I was like, with all the different third-party stuff, it would make a good, I think, YouTube YouTube segment to do all the different toys. Like, for example, remember those I forgot what it was called, the Seekers that were all deluxe or Voyager size. Gosh damn it, I can't believe I can't remember the names for the life of me anymore. Too many psych meds or something. I'm starting to forget my doggone. But remember, yeah, it was a third party thing that they did all the Seekers. Oh my gosh!
Before my time.
Are you talking about the iGear Raptor Squadron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how
they were all F-22 Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Those I that worked well with Toy World, the Toy World Megatron at the time. Not the Masterpiece one, but you're talking about when Toy World was doing more of the chug.
I know what you're talking about. Hegemon, right?
Hegemon, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have the Raptor Squadron. I actually found them to be very similar in design and sculpt to the Feral Rex.
Yes, that exactly. It does look congruent with the Mastermind production products of that time. Absolutely. Yeah. Before they became more accurate. Before they started to go, you know what? It looks like the market demands toon accuracy or comic accuracy. We're going to make it all look.
Yeah. I actually like the Raptor Squadron. I have all 6 of them, and I use them or I plan on using them with my cross dimension shelf.
Yes, that looked like it would make sense. That would be congruent with that stylized. They're a little bigger than the stuff that Make Toys did, but aesthetically looking, it looks like they would mesh.
I think from the top of the head to their feet, I think they're about the same size as Riot or Despotron. But like when you take into account the shoulder pieces that come up, those scoops, then then they're taller. But I think from the top of the head, I think they're about the same size as Ryder Despotron.
I believe, for me, I find it absolutely tragic that that everything went straight to masterpiece scale, or the masterpiece style of stuff, because I really did enjoy what Fans Project and Style was doing back in the day with their own stylized version of Dinobots in the chug scale. And sadly, the
Planet X. Planet X are also going to be my cross dimension Dinobots.
Well, they're still making those, aren't they? The Planet X stuff.
Planet X hasn't done anything in a while, but they were making stuff up to last year, maybe. I think the last one they came out with was that Death Stars.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw like an Omega Supreme go up for sale with that.
Oh, that was like one of their first figures.
Was it? Oh, then it was a reissue.
Like a reissue, yes. Maybe. Yeah, I know. The Triptychon was either reissued or one of the sites, like maybe TF Source, put it up for on sale.
Okay,
maybe.
I didn't know if they stopped or not. I thought that was just like a very unique. It was like their own like line based on the games that they would kind of keep going with it, but I guess not. Yeah. Not if they don't have any sales.
I was very sad when McToy stopped doing the City Bots, because I definitely wanted a Triptychon and a Fortress Max. You know what I mean, from that style, because I thought their Scorponok was really dope, and their Metroplex was pretty dope too. Yeah, Utopia.
Our friend Chris Mayville. Shout out to Chris and Kim. What was it when the first time we went to TFCon in Chicago, which would have been 2016, I think. We went to the Chosen Prime dinner at that restaurant. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but they did a giveaway of that Make Toy Scorponok, and our friend Chris Mayville won it.
Nice,
which is really cool. So,
yeah, I had the regular green one and regular Metroplex. I didn't get the recolored versions of those, like the tiny.
There was actually plans in the works for a oversized KO of the Metroplex.
Oh wow!
Or was it Utopia?
Utopia.
Yeah. So there was plans for an oversized KO of that. Like that was going to be the size of like the Hasbro City Bots, like the like the 2 foot
Titan
tall
class style. Yeah.
Yeah, the Titan class. Yeah, it was going to be on that scale. But it was going to be, just an oversized KO of Utopia and everything. But that ended up getting canceled.
I just saw somebody selling a Hasbro Metroplex for like $600 or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
How much is the Hasbro Fort Max going for?
I don't know. Probably, I'm assuming maybe same, a little less.
Yeah.
But Fort Max, that was Ollie's thing, right?
Yeah. Last I checked, he was going for like $300 on eBay.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that was the last time I checked. I haven't checked in a while.
I actually got one of those for my kid back in the day when that came out, and it got wrecked. Yeah. So I actually kind of just gave that away to somebody. Just a bunch of pile of toys for their kids.
Yeah,
$300, huh? Oh well, it was broken anyway. I don't know where his head was.
Well, now that's for a sealed one.
Yeah, right. For a collector, not for someone who played with the hell out of it and broke it.
Yeah,
as Transformers should be played with and broken.
Well, the Hasbro stuff is anywhere from $300 to $450 right now for an unopened Titan class on the eBays.
Well, they originally were like $150 or something.
Yeah, that was regular price was $150.
Sounds about right.
So, all right. So, Jed, what about you?
Thanks for asking. I was been waiting since you guys.
Sorry.
I did win. I won an auction on eBay for Brother Kyle. It's I was a Black Widow. It was a Play Arts Kai stuff. Black Widow, Catwoman, and that chick from Man of Steel. What's her name? Fiora. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fiora. So I turned around and sold the other two, and then I got the Black Widow for him. So that was it wasn't really for me, but it was a site I picked up. I I did
At
get.
first, I was going to say like you won an eBay auction of a bunch of Nickelback crap.
It was
You got it
only
for a good deal.
$20 for all that stuff. I can't wait to send it back to Mike.
Exactly. I was gonna say it would have
Can
been
you
worth
imagine
it
I've
to do that
I
again.
just stopped over and I'm like, hey, I got all this stuff for Kyle and Levy, and oh, and here, this is stuff for you too. What's this? It's a present.
You son of a bitch!
I won this from eBay. He would love it.
You imagine if it was like a cursed item, like he just tried to leave it somewhere and it came back eventually at some point.
Dude, yeah. How sad would that be? Like for Mike, like every time he opened it, the one song he hated the most out of the bunch kept playing in the background. Nobody else could hear it but him.
I think it's all a ruse. I think that's just his stuff that he collected. He just doesn't want it anymore. He wants to be trendy, and the Nickelback isn't cool anymore. So he's got to, remove evidence of him ever having, possession of any of these items.
Yeah, that sounds plausible.
So I got Rao yesterday.
From Fist of the North
Rao.
Star now?
Fist of the North Star. Yep, I got Rao.
Nice.
He came in. I got one for
Have you
Levy.
had him fight Kenshiro yet?
I didn't take him out of the box yet. I've been kind of busy, but I kind of shined the light in and was looking at everything, making sure there was nothing wrong with them or anything messed up. But no, it looks good. Looks real good.
We're going to have to do a shot of Kenshiro versus Rao.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to figure out something for that. Plus, Kenshiro came with all the hand effects, the multi-hand attack type of thing. But that would be cool. Those figures that I can't remember what the name of the company is. Something like Action Statue, something like that. The detail and the paint on those figures is so nice.
Yeah, they are really good.
They do a really good job. They do a lot of there's an anime out there and I can't remember the name of the show, but it's pretty popular. It's like something ride, something I want to see is like somebody's like carnival, is that it? Something carnival maybe. But yeah, look at me, Mr. Anime, and I can't remember the name of that. It's something like that. But anyway, they do a lot of figures for that, and they look really nice too. So they definitely spend a lot of time on the paint when it comes to those figures, especially for like a 1/12 scale, getting that really fine, small detail, like all the little, gold nuggets or gem or whatever in like somebody's belt or in their bracers. It looks really, really good. Let's see. Did I get anything else? I don't think I really got anything else that I can think of. I know I'm on the hunt. I'm gonna get a new guitar probably next week. Definitely gonna. I've been specking out like different models and stuff that I want to check out. Mm-hmm. And that's about it really that I can think of. So I didn't really get too much. But shout outs to everybody who's been listening to us on or following us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And if you stumbled upon this podcast after liking an image or watching a video on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, and sorry if it didn't entertain you long enough. But the that Astro Train parody video thing that I made on YouTube has been taking off lately. Did you guys see that? It's only like,
so to speak, right?
15 seconds long. Well, it's like 15,000 views on it. Somebody shared it, I think, on TFW, and but yeah, it's like 15,000 views, which is hilarious for like that video. That's what I was saying. It's gotten the attention of like multiple people when YouTube starts putting ads on it in front of it.
Yeah.
And you have chosen not to put ads on it, but they decided they wanted to put ads on it because they want to make their money somehow. But I started working on another funny, 15, 20 second clip. And the only hint I'm going to give is that it's fun because I'm doing like animation parts for it because it doesn't exist, the animation. But the hint I will give is that I got to help Megatron. And then hilarity will ensue after that. like couple of stay away, kid. That's for what?
Careful, don't hit the matrix.
Yeah, remember, don't hit the matrix. I know. Wait, what? Ah! But yeah, I'm gonna work on that. That'll be done hopefully in a couple days, I think. Let's see. Lev, you mentioned your project. I've been kind of reaching out to a couple more artists as well. People that I think that have some really good quality stuff that could be like, hang on the wall type of material, to see if they'll let me license their art so I can resell it on Hidden Toys with prints. So got a couple of people interested so far.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I want to see if I can kind of span out that site a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, one person's art attracts another person's art, and then you have a bunch of artists on there, and that kind of thing. And kind of you scratch your back, I scratch my back, and all that jazz. Plus, the way I have everything spec'd out, it's pretty reasonable compared to a lot of these other sites that rape the artist. Like Redbubble basically gives you only 15% of what you're selling it for. So you sell it for $10, you get $1.50, and that's it out of it. The rest of it goes to them.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's for people who don't, that they just want to casually post something and sell it because they think it looks awesome or they had interest in it. Or they don't want to spend the money or the time to set up their own site and get the materials and the packaging and the shipping and all that stuff, which I've already done. So I thought, well, I have all of this. I have the system in place. Why not kind of invite people to do that and just turn around, and give them profit and take whatever costs I have out of it. And, they make like 75% out of the sale instead of 15. Yeah. So like I said, reaching out to a couple people, I got a couple people lined up for that. So hopefully in about a month or so, I'll have some more stuff up there. You guys ready to move on to the news and the trailers and all that jazz?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, people who died, George Young was 78 years old. He was an American drug trafficker and smuggler, and he was the subject of the movie Blow. You guys remember that movie?
So he really wasn't that young then, was he?
Jung.
Is he the guy that Johnny Depp played? That dude?
Yeah, that guy. Yep, that guy. So he died. Doesn't say how. But he was 78. Olympia Dukakis died.
Really?
She was 89. Yep, she was 89. She was in Moonstruck and Steel Magnolias, and she won an Oscar in 1988. Was she another one that was on your radar there, Levy?
No.
With Helen Mirren there? No? I thought maybe. I don't know. I think you're not saying the truth. Oh, that's right. I forgot with my shoutouts about famous people. I caught wind that it might possibly, and I can't say who. I've been sworn to secrecy with everybody, but there is a famous person that listens to our show. It's a guilty pleasure of theirs.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
you'll have to tell me off the air.
Yeah, I can't tell you off the air. I can't tell you who. I can't tell anybody. It's one of those deals. So hey, thanks for listening to the show. Appreciate it. And secret safe with me. I will not reveal. And
Will Wheaton, if it's you,
but hey,
I need you to narrate.
I'm glad you enjoy the show.
If it's Will Wheaton, if it's you, Will, keep doing them audio books. We enjoy your.
I do enjoy
your narration.
Audio books. I do.
That's right.
That was one of my favorite things of Ready Player One. I was going to listen to Ready Player 2, but I wound up reading it instead of listening to Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
But yeah, so yeah, shout out to that celebrity and any other famous or semi-famous people that may be listening to our show.
Why should actually be Will Wheaton? That motherfucker talked.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the people that died. Toshiro Kanagawa was 81. He was a Japanese chef. He was one of the original Japanese Iron Chefs from the original show that was from Japan. He was Toshiro Kanagawa. He was the original Japanese chef before Morimoto came on, and he was the one that used to wear the green outfit with the real tall hat. And he was well known because there was two things that he was known for. That I used to watch that show religiously way back in the day, but he used to always like challenge people. He'd come in like he'd have like a whole crew with him and stuff. Like Tyson was coming into the ring or whatever. He has an ensemble and stuff like that. And he had tried to give Entourage. Thank you. He had tried to give some celebrity. I can't remember who it was. Whale. And they refused to eat his dish because there was whale in it. Yeah, and it was made with whale, and it was like a big deal because he was pissed because they wouldn't eat his food. And he always was like, if I lose, I'm going to retire, that type of thing. And then he actually did lose like so many matches, and he kept his word and he retired. And he like only came back for like special episodes, like when they had all the Iron Chefs like in the stadium that one time. But yeah, he was 81. he actually died of COVID. Which is kind of sad.
But man.
Yeah. So let's see. Billie Hayes, she was 96. She was an American actress. Did you guys ever watch HR Puff and Stuff?
No.
She played Witchy Poo in HR Puff and Stuff. She did a lot of voiceover work. She did a lot in the 80s and 90s. She did a voice in the Black Cauldron and Transformers Rescue Bots. She was Mrs. Needlelander in that, but she had a very distinctive like witch cackle type of thing. So she was always cast for that type of character. But yeah, I used to watch HR Puff and Stuff when I was a kid.
Never heard of it.
That was back during the whole. I can't remember the guys that made the. It was HR Puff and Stuff. It was Sigmund the Sea Monster. It was Land of the Lost.
I remember Land of the Lost.
That I remember.
What were the guys that made that? Martin Croft or something? Maybe.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so they made all these kids shows back then. They were like kind of like, they were high on something when they thought the idea was up. But HR Puff and Stuff, it was like this dragon, like this goofy looking like yellow dragon, and then there's a kid that was trapped in their land, and they had a flute that would talk and stuff. No? Doesn't ring any bells? Yeah, it's a drug. It's like a whole drug, like a whole hallucination, like that's basically
drug fueled hallucination.
What years did those show come out?
Late 70s, I'm thinking.
Okay, now keep in mind that I didn't move to the United States until 84.
Oh, yeah, they had reruns of them.
Or 83.
They were pretty popular. Like it was always Sigmund. Like it was a Sunday morning shows. They had like Sigmund Sea Monster, Land of the Lost, HR Puff and Stuff. The Great Space Coaster, like all those shows.
I remember the Great Space Coaster. Good news is good news.
Like Gary Gnu.
Gary Gnu.
But she passed away. She was 96. Frank McRae was 80. He was an actor. And see if you guys remember him. He was most well known for, he was the police chief from 48 Hours. And then the one that was always yelling all the time. And then he reprised like the same type of role in Last Action Hero. He was the police captain that was like yelling at him all the time.
I haven't watched Last Action Hero in a very long time, and I've never seen 48 Hours.
He was the school teacher in Red Dawn in the beginning. He was in License to Kill. He was like one of, I think his friends, was it Sharky or something? Sharky. He was in the movie.
The guy that got blown up in the pressure chamber?
I don't remember License to Kill. I don't think I saw that movie, so I couldn't tell you.
Or was that it was at License to
It was
License to Kill.
He was in License to Kill.
Sharky.
Timothy Dalton movie.
And he was in Batteries Not Included. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, I remember that movie.
He was like the retired, like, well, maybe he wasn't retired, but he was like the boxer guy that lived in one of the apartments. He used to be a football player for the Bears back in the 60s or whatever, but he had a heart attack and he passed away. But that's all I have for the people that died. You guys will move on to the trailers.
Yeah.
So Yul, what trailer did you like or find most interesting? 8 that I shared.
Of the bunch, I was torn between 2. I mean, a lot of them were cool, but the ones that I was looking forward to the most is A Quiet Place 2 and Castlevania 4, Season 4.
Oh, yeah. Which one would you like to talk about?
Let's go with A Quiet Place first. Actually, part 2. I thought that the story could, was already done. Like they couldn't tell anymore. But I was pretty excited that they found a way to continue on.
Yeah,
because I'm just a sucker for monster movies, man. I love monster flicks. Creature features are what's up for me, man. Like The Relic, all those other Deep Rising. Yeah,
dude,
I could watch
The Relic. I must have watched The Relic like 1,000 Tom Sizemore.
Yeah. Penelope Ann Miller.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I ever heard of someone getting a dog in a divorce. I learned that from that movie. And oh my God, I forgot the name of the part of the brain. The hypothalamus. That it was
the
human hypothalamus.
The human hypothalamus.
Human
hypothalamus. Saying that over and over again.
I love that. That was a great movie.
Yeah,
I used to watch the movie all the time. And Deep Rising, I used to watch that. I love those. You're right. I love those monster movies the best.
Deep Rising. What was Deep Rising?
Treat Williams and the killer octopus squid thing that was killing everyone on the ship.
With Benny?
I remember hearing about it. I never saw it.
Famke.
You have to.
Was in that?
Jensen.
Yeah, she was. There was when she was young.
Magua.
And that was good.
And the guy from the bad guy from The Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, he was in there too. Wes Studi. Yeah. Wes Studi.
Yeah. He also played Sagat in Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Or the Sphinx in Mystery Men. That guy was my favorite character ever. After he did that, here's a funny thing. After I saw Mystery Men and the way he performed, I always started to root for him to kill all the Mohicans in Last of the Mohicans.
Oh my God.
I could tell myself, I said, dude, Wes Studi, you can do no wrong. You go ahead and you kill all of the Mohicans.
You think the whole time he was making Street Fighter, he was like, I was in Last of the Mohicans, damn it.
I know, right? How did I end up here?
Yeah. That was one of the best parts. Like when he was in Deep Rising and he was getting eaten alive, and then Benny felt bad for him, so he gave him the gun so he could shoot himself. And he turned around and tried to shoot Benny instead.
There was no bullet.
There's no bullets left.
Yeah.
The guy that played like the annoying betrayer dude from The Mummy was the same. He played like basically the same character from Deep Rising. Benny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His name was Benny in Deep Rising too.
Oh really?
You never saw that movie? Oh man, that's a good movie, dude. Oh, you should watch that.
It really is.
That'll hold up still to this day.
I agree.
But
I don't know about the Ski-Doo jump scene. I don't know if that still holds up, but the rest of the movie I'm sure does.
The premise is good. When you first watch the intro part of it, it's like in deep in the middle of the South China Sea or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's unexplored territory, and a lot of boats just disappear. So
it's like one of those movies where what's a good example? It's kind of like where the movie starts out like it's a horror movie, and then it turns into a horror movie, and you're like, oh, these guys came to rob the boat, and this one's in on it, and there's all this, suspense and stuff, and you're like, wait a second, why are there tentacles coming out of the toilet trying to eat me? Yeah. It changes like a genre. It's good.
It's supposed to be an action heist movie turned into a horror movie.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, did you see the Quiet Place, the first one?
I did
not.
You didn't see LA? Oh, that's a good movie too. Mm-hmm. You got a homework this weekend. Watch those two movies. Those are both really good movies. Quiet Place is a really good movie too.
No, I don't think I will.
You know what you're missing, Levy.
Yeah, I like.
If I get it,
I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic movies too. So it killed two birds with one stone. There was a post-apocalyptic movie / horror creature feature. So that's two different genres that I love the most put into one.
And I didn't realize there was actually a name for those creatures until I saw a write-up from the trailer of the second one. They're called Death Angels.
Did they? They never. They didn't ever explain where they came from, did they? At least on the first movie, no. They just came out of nowhere. I don't think
they did. Yeah. Well, they were kind of like already in the middle of all, or the end of it, or not the end, but it was like a good year or so after it went down, and everybody was either dead or in hiding and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's
take place right at the start of it, but then also jumps ahead to like after the events of the first film.
Yes, that is correct.
So
Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
You want to move on to Castlevania since Levy didn't see the Quiet Place and he has no cares.
I highly recommend it, Levy. Because it was like the Bird Box before Bird Box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just never got around to it. I feel like I'm opposed to it. I just never got around to seeing it.
No worries.
Good movie. Yeah, Castlevania, man. I can't wait. That trailer looked awesome.
I was a big fan of the first ones seasons that came out. I didn't realize that they could turn it into a Game of Thrones into animated format.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did Levy, what do you think?
No, I'm very excited for Castlevania. Definitely really enjoyed the previous seasons and whatnot. So
I think my favorite part of the trailer was when they're trying to bring Dracula. Yeah. Who the fuck would bring Dracula? Would you?
Yeah,
like, no. Nope. Yeah. I wish I could kill you again.
I just wish they didn't kill Godbrand. He was great.
I like these chick vampires and how evil they are.
Yeah. Does the animation style look slightly different to you?
Maybe, but I know that the same studio is doing it. Is it Powerhouse Animation or something like that? I'd have to look it up again. But I know that they are very well known for doing hand animation and putting in background hand design. It's all digital, drawn. But it's still hand drawn stuff. Mm-hmm. And like the 3D stuff that they do mix in there is mostly it not very much at all compared to like a lot of the other anime stuff that's coming out recently. Yeah. Like even with Studio Mir, the DOTA stuff that came up was like the dragons are all CGI. Some of the other stuff is CGI, and you can see it. You can tell. I mean, people are getting better with the whole NPR stuff nowadays, but still it lacks that. That the one of the biggest things that people try to do with NPR 3D rendering, because I've been working on this for like a year or two, is try to get a computer software that's mathematically trying to give you its very best, most accurate, computation of a physical object to make it be not perfect, to give it mistakes, give it like a human touch to it. And it's hard because the software is fighting you every inch and tooth to try to make it perfect.
They should hire the guys at Arc System Works.
Arc System Works is it's like put up on a pedestal when it comes to those artists. They look at that and they're like, that's, they kind of like want to go in that direction. But even with Arc System Works, you can tell some of that stuff is like very CGI, like at least with their newer game that I saw the trailer for.
Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, which looks amazing. But that's kind of like the bar that's kind of like everyone tries to reach.
Yeah, because I remember when Guilty Gear Xrd was first announced, they showed the announced trailer and they showed Soul Bad Guy and Kai Kisk. Like they're the two main characters of the game, and the trailer is just them having a fight and everything like that, right? But then all of a sudden, one of them like did a super move or something like that, and the camera spun around them. And to keep in mind, like the trailer, it looked like the traditional sprites, the high resolution sprites that Guilty Gear always used. But then when the camera moved around seamlessly, like the whole crowd lost their shit because how is this possible? Because it looked like a 2D animated sprites, and yet the camera was moving around it like it was like they were 3D rendered characters, and they didn't look like 3D rendered characters.
Right.
And yeah, it was awesome. So
Yep. Yeah, it's called reverse culling, basically. So they take the same exact model, they duplicate it, and then they basically make the border outside of it and then all the other, they have their own software to make those modeling and the rendering and stuff. They don't use anything that I know of that's commercial. They actually design their own.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth is the same way too. They have their own software. Doesn't really work out for them as well as Arc System works, but yeah, there's a whole hour or hour and a half long seminar with the director of animation, or maybe he was just the CGI head or whatever, but he explained everything that they did and how they did it, and it's very innovative at the time, which was what, 3 years ago? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Didn't I show you that video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched it. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll have to send you that video then, because the way they did this animation, like, have you ever seen the new Guilty Gear games or Dragon Ball Fighters?
Mm-mm. Not the most current ones, but I'm familiar with like the older ones. They're pretty good.
Yeah. No, like these fighting games, the characters look like 2D drawn sprites, but they're actually 3D character models. And they're all nice. Like really, really hard to tell the difference until the camera starts moving around them and whatnot during like special moves and whatnot. So,
right. One of the things
really impressive the way they really hide the 3D models and make them look like 2D animated.
The new what's the new game called? Strife?
Strive. Guilty Gear Strive.
There's the scene changes that they do now, like when somebody gets hit a certain way from a special move, and the one character gets knocked out of the scene, and they basically kind of like move into another area of like whatever map that they're in, and they pick up the fight from there, like a very Mortal Kombat kind of thing. Like, what did they do that in 2, Levy? When they
Mortal Kombat 3. I would probably say it's more akin to like Dead or Alive and like some of the later Tekken games.
Right. So that's pretty cool the way they did it. It looks, the transition between the boards looks awesome. But when you watch Castlevania, there's some parts of it where you can see when, like, if there's like flashes or like an explosion, and you see like it's all white and it's just basically like the black outlines of people and stuff. Like a lot of that stuff you can't do in 3D. You have to do that all hand drawn to get that effect. So all that stuff it's all hand drawn. It's digital. The background art is digital, but it's hand done. They stick to that very closely. But yeah, I think maybe the style might have changed a little bit with the way that the colors are done. Like you can see a big difference if you guys watch Attack on Titan. Last season, Attack on Titan was done that way, and then this season is all CGI, and you can see there's a big difference between the two to people that are looking for that type of stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be the last season of Castlevania.
I was hoping it wasn't, but because of Warren Ellis allegations.
Yeah, and then the studio's gonna be working on Masters of the Universe and a couple of other things too.
So the company's gonna be working on
Kevin Smith's Kevin Smith's He-Man. Yep, they originally did some Clerks animation back in the day when the Clerks cartoon was out. What was the other thing I was gonna say about that? Oh, it's gonna be out. This show drops on Monday, so it'll be out this Thursday or Friday, I think. So we're recording on Friday, so it'll be out, I think, next week, either Thursday or Friday. It comes out. Let's see. Was Levy? Give me a trailer.
Awake.
Yeah,
the
another
Netflix
type
one?
of kind of post-apocalyptic.
Oh
yeah, the Netflix one.
That really, that one really piqued my interest. It reminded me of that episode of Star Trek: Next Generation where they couldn't sleep, or I'm sorry, where they couldn't dream. That's what it was. They could sleep, but they couldn't dream. And they were having a similar effect where they were just like slowly losing their minds.
Was that season 1 episode? I think.
No, that was I want to say season 3.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I want to say that was either season 3 or season 4, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it just reminded me of that because, like you said, like the way people were just like slowly losing their minds and whatever. So,
the woman in the church, we should sacrifice her.
They took that from what you call it, The Mist.
Mist. Yeah, another good movie.
Yes. Another great creature feature.
That's even better in black and white. If you have the Blu-ray, they have the black and white version.
I don't think I told you guys this, but when I watched that in the theater, when it ended, I stood up and gave it a standing ovation immediately after. People all look at me, what an a-hole.
It's got one of the best best endings in a horror movie.
Yeah.
I stood up, exactly, and that's why I stood up and gave it a standing ovation clap in the middle.
Yeah.
I said, yes, wait to screw the audience.
Yeah.
Well, they had the balls to go with that bleak ending, man. That was, well, I should say bittersweet, because I mean, they apparently they were able to drive off the mist and the monsters and everything like that. But I mean, if Thomas Jane had just waited just 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes, not even like 30 seconds.
Who directed that? Say guys, who is it?
Frank Darabont.
Yeah, I remember he said, I think there was either a commentary or an interview. He said he had really had to fight for that ending.
Yeah.
He was a master.
You notice that there's a lot of people from The Walking Dead in that movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Darabont was the showrunner on the first season of Walking Dead.
Yep. Brought a lot of those people with him.
Played Laurie. You had Jeffrey DeMunn. He played Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her name? The woman that played Carol.
Mm-hmm.
So can't remember if there was anyone else from Walking Dead in there.
Well, there was one thing. What's the guy's name? Sam.
They had Galen Marek. Yep, the guy who played Sam Worthington or somewhere.
Is that his name? Sam Worthington?
I forget, but I know who you're talking about. The dude who got sacrificed, the army dude.
Yeah, he did the voice for the Star Killer in the Jedi.
They use his whole face.
Yeah, he was the guy in the tank in Walking Dead, the first or second or whatever episode that was, when Rick was in the tank.
The zombie or
the dead soldier in the tank.
Okay, because there was a zombie in the tank too, and he shot him and inside the tank, and it just like almost blew his eardrums out when he did that.
Sam Witwer. Yeah, that was the guy's name.
Is that Sam Witwer? Yeah, maybe he was the zombie, but I remember saying that they were going to have an episode like all based around his story. They were just going to make up based on that soldier that was in the tank, because he brought him from the mist into the Walking Dead too.
He was also in Being Human.
I don't remember that one.
And also very well known for doing the roommates.
What was it for?
Which one?
What was the name of the show?
Being Human, the one where it's a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost live in the same. They're all roommates. It's a pretty good show. I liked it.
It was originally a UK show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I never saw that.
He played them.
I'll have to check.
It was on Netflix. It's one of the first things that I binge watched because I could.
Is it good?
I liked it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
But you kind of have to be a fan of the occult kind of stuff to enjoy this kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. Totally.
Yeah, I heard the BBC series, so I don't know about the American version.
I watched the American.
He also did the voiceover for Darth Maul in the Rebels in the Clone War series. Sam Witwer.
He's Swin Witwer.
Witwer, whatever his name is. Sammy, Sam. He listens to the show.
That dude.
Anyway,
Star Killer.
Yeah. Where were we going with this? I lost track.
We were talking about Awake.
Oh, Awake. Let's talk about Awake instead of all the other things we were thinking about that related to that. So, didn't it give you like a Last of Us vibe at the end? No. When they were like, she's there's a little girl or a girl.
Oh yeah. She says she can sleep. Okay, can sleep. I didn't think of that myself, but I could definitely see how you would think of that. Yeah.
And they were gonna do. It sounded like they were gonna do surgery on her.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like the last storyline. My turn. So I really liked the Ratchet and Clank trailer, the gameplay.
Yeah, I thought it was a movie until it said it was a game.
so innovative with the like their portal technology that they're doing, and just everything looked fantastic for like a PS5 game. And I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, like Ratchet and Clank and like the Jax and Daxter game, was that a Jax and Daxter?
Mm-hmm.
Jax. Those were like, I always thought that like those were like the games that really made the PlayStation like kind of like what it was, because they were always so good.
Never played a single one of them.
Really? I even played the Daxter game on the PSP when it came out. That was really good too. It always like pushed the console to its like kind of like limit and made it fun. Those are really good games. But yeah,
they were definitely supposed to be the Mario of its of Sony.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, and they actually made a Ratchet and Clank CGI movie a few years ago, which was pretty good too. My kids and I used to watch that all the time. But yeah, I wish I had a PS5 because that's really exciting, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, although I think it's because it was hard for me to get into it when I was already an adult. Like, I don't know, to get a game called Ratchet and Clank. But I wouldn't mind watching other people play. Yeah,
that's, I'm not an adult. I'm just an older child right now.
Older child.
Yeah, give it a year. You might be able to walk into a store and buy a PS5 off the shelf in 2022.
Think so?
No.
There's like all that chip shortage, right? Still, isn't it? Yeah.
Semiconductors, yeah.
I don't know about getting any PS5s.
Yeah, it's affecting everything that has a processor in it, even cars.
Well, Levy, you're like I would say you're a big gamer. What did you think of the trailer? Just like overall technology-wise?
I've seen pretty much everything about this game from its original announcement. Yeah, it looks cool. It hasn't really interested me because, like I said, I've never followed the series, but it definitely looks cool. You were right, like with the portals and stuff like that. I thought that was really really cool shit. So, but unfortunately, I probably won't be playing this game because I never played any of the others. So,
yeah, this is the kind of game that I would buy for my nephews and stuff, and hopefully they would like it and catch on to it, like my uncles did when I first got a Mario game. So,
yeah, the game that would make me buy a PlayStation 5 is going to be Horizon Forbidden West. So.
It's tragic for me because like the only games I like to play are like the 8-bit independent games that come out on on the the PlayStation 4 store, like games like that are like Metroidvanias. Those are the kind of games that I pay.
Well, you should check out that new Record of Lodoss War game.
Yes,
Deedlit's Adventure or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yep. Sadly, I think it's only for Steam right now, right? At least as far as I know.
I think it's on PC. Yeah, it's only on PC. There's that, and then there's also Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. That's not like a sprite-based game. It's all CGI rendered.
Yeah.
It's the same vein of. It's actually made by the guy who made Castlevania. Idaragi, I think his name is. So it's made by the same guy. So. Yeah, and the Deedlit game, she has the same exact animations as Alucard. So
I was more of an Axiom Verge kind of guy. I mean, and the thing is, and one more, Hollow Knight, and those games don't require a PS5 to play.
Jed dropped out.
Uh-oh. Hopefully he comes back in. But yeah, no. As far as Ratchet and Clank and stuff goes, back in the day, dude, like when I believe it was more PS2 than PS1 was when games like Crash Bandicoot and the Sly Cooper and and Spyro, those were supposed to be the Mario competitors for the equivalent for PlayStation. And
do you remember the old Crash Bandicoot commercials where like the guy in the Crash Bandicoot suit went to Nintendo headquarters was calling it?
Yeah, I do remember that. It's and what makes it even funnier for me was like it's for me like a playoff of what DX used to do from WWF when they would go to troll WCW.
Yeah. You're back, Jed. Everything all right?
Yeah, it's something. I don't know if it's something with if my router, or I think I updated my firmware on my router the other day, and I think there's like a default setting that at 10 o'clock it reboots it automatically. I have to fix that, change that.
Now that explains it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
3 minutes
right at 10
ago.
o'clock. Yeah, it knocked me off. Remember, I don't know if you guys I heard you guys talking at the end there, but you guys remember Gex, the Gecko games?
Mm-hmm.
That was wasn't that a 3DO thing?
Yeah, I think so.
He was like supposed to be a 3DO mascot.
Sure.
So anyway, sorry about that. What about another trailer, Levy?
Werewolves Within.
Yeah, that's a VR game on the game.
Yeah, like an actual board game, like a party game.
Do you know
Like Clue?
that chick that's in it is from those commercials? Was it Geico?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Was it progressive or liberal?
Progressive?
AT&T. Milana
AT&T.
Vatra
That's it. AT&T.
Yeah. Plays Lily.
Yeah.
And
I'd smash.
yeah, lots of people would, and lots of people have made it clear to her, which has of.
Oh, if you're listening, ma'am, I'm sorry. If you're the famous one that's listening, I'm sorry about that, but it's true.
Listens to this podcast. No, but like, yeah, she's gotten like just harassing people and everything, just wanting to talk about her massive tits. So,
Damn.
Definitely progressive.
So, but yeah, no, Werewolves Within looks cool. Yeah, I guess like the board game, the premise is someone is secretly appointed to be a werewolf, or like two people. It's basically kind of like a board game version of Among Us. If you ever had Among Us,
I figured that you would reference that.
So you have to figure out who the people are that are the werewolves, and they have the ability to kill people in different rounds or whatever. I guess I don't know. I didn't read too much up on it, but yeah. So it seems like everybody, like somebody in this town in this movie is a werewolf, and they're trying to figure out who it is. And everything. It looks pretty cool. So I'm curious to see if what the werewolf is going to look like. So
we were just
because
talking
of
about
you,
how...
Levy.
What's that?
Because of you, Levy, I did watch Werewolf, by the way, on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
it was hard to watch because of it wasn't high definition. It was so hard when it's going.
Resolution.
Yeah.
480.
Yeah, it was bad. Like it was literally hard to watch. Like
Well, 480 is at least somewhat watchable. Like, but like the ones on YouTube are like, I think like max like 240, if not 144.
Terrible.
So, but yeah. So hey, maybe because remember how we were saying last time or whatever about how zombies were played out and vampires were played out, and that it was time for werewolves to come back.
Right.
Maybe this movie will mark a rising trend in werewolf movies.
Right.
Well, speaking of which, that isn't that what that I thought that next trailer Siberia was supposed to be, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I thought it was the secret origin of Green Goblin. Because he's like talking to himself and shit and seeing visions of himself.
I was saying to Yule earlier, I said, I don't know what really it's about either, but I saw William Dafoe, him being crazy, and it was just like, okay, I'm watching it. This sounds awesome.
Combination.
Yep. Yeah.
Siberia.
Yep.
Now I've got to admit that while I was watching that trailer, I was trying to remember where exactly Siberia is, man. Like, I remember hearing that being referenced a lot in the 80s, but where exactly is that in Russia?
You know not where Siberia. You know not. You're not in prison if you're not in Siberia.
And what would Willem Dafoe be doing?
Apparently, he's a bartender. I guess. Which makes it even more crazy.
In Siberia.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks really weird, and I want to see it. Rick and Morty. You guys excited for Rick and Morty?
I have to get caught up on that show, but yeah. The Voltron shit. I saw a quick glimpse of some Transformers in there too.
They were skiing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's about, but okay.
I love that show.
That show is great. I still love the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Oh yeah, that was a fantastic episode. The dragons.
Yes.
Oh man. Yes, I only watched the first half of that season. I stopped to watch the second half of season 4. So
you should watch it. It's good. A lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it.
Yeah. No, it's on HBO Max. I'll have to catch up. But yeah. I still keep thinking of Snake Jazz.
That was probably the best episode out of the whole season.
That was a great episode. The Terminator snakes.
Yeah, that was really good. Maybe next time you'll stay in the fucking car.
I'm one of those guys who just, you know, after I watched South Park, the first couple seasons of South Park in the movie, my interest in anything that kind of style of humor and stuff just took a really deep dive down. Like I never really got into Family Guy or any animation with that kind of thing. So I didn't think I was going to like Rick and Morty at all until I watched it, and now I was obsessed.
It's a lot more intelligent than it lets on.
Agreed, and I think that's why I like it so much. I mean, I didn't understand why everybody was, you know, why it had such a strong following, and after I watched the first couple episodes, I was like, I see why now.
I mean, there is so much subtext and stuff to read between the lines on when you're looking and analyzing the plot lines and stuff. It's even stuff that's just like seems innocuous always seems to have like some sort of deeper meaning or relationship to something else that's going on in the show. You know?
Yes.
Just think about how much what am I trying to say? Think about how much like pull they have with people, right? They had that first episode where they were just talking about the McDonald's sauce.
Yeah,
the Szechuan sauce. They brought it back because there was so much demand for it.
There was actual like riots at McDonald's when they had like 7 sauce packets available for people.
There was somebody, I think I remember, they had the original Szechuan sauce from like back when Mulan came out, and it was like they had it in like a briefcase and they were selling it for like $1,000, and people were buying it. Yeah, they're crazy,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know what? When they brought that back to Szechuan, I don't know if it was the same recipe as the from 1998, but damn, that was a good sauce.
It was a good sauce. I know.
Yeah,
I remember the wife got me like 100 of them for my birthday. It was awesome.
I wish they kept it around as a permanent sauce for the nuggets, because at least that way I might be inclined to buy their nuggets now, because their nuggets are trash. They changed the recipe on them. I don't know. They're Burger King's $1.50 nuggets. Fucking straight up trash. At least with the Szechuan sauce, they might be edible.
They need more grizzle and more foot, less weight, right?
Hell, if they had kept that sauce around, I might just be inclined to go buy chicken nuggets, get the sauce, and then just go to Giant, pick up some Tyson nuggets, take them home, fry them up, and eat the sauce with those Tyson nuggets, and just toss them chicken McNuggets in the trash.
Yeah. Well, I look on eBay. I'm sure you could probably still find some sauce.
Yeah, I don't know how to pay that.
That reminds me of an episode of Deep Space Nine when Nog had to find a way to trade that sauce in order to get these stem bolts. I'm such a nerd. I would know why I know that kind of shit, dude.
I just found out recently, maybe about a week or two ago, that there is a project that's out there that actually upscaled all the Deep Space Nine episodes.
Oh, cool.
They upscaled them all into like 1080p.
I hope they do that, because I know I picked up Babylon 5 remastered for sure.
Oh, they haven't done a 1080p remaster yet on Deep Space Nine? Like an official one?
Nope.
Really?
They only did it on TNG so far as I know.
Okay.
And the original series, right?
The original series.
Yeah, so there's no official project. So they took the DVDs and they just basically ran them through an AI upscaler. And, they didn't really fix anything. They just made it so it's watchable now, like, on a high resolution, TV.
Yeah. And
it's good. It's not like it's great or the CGI was redone, but it's not a freaking tiny little 480p screen that you have to, it's blurry and shit if you try to make it, it's the same size as your screen. Yeah, it's and they did all, was it 9 seasons? 7 seasons.
7 seasons.
7 seasons. Deep Space Nine. Yeah, they did all of them, and they're all available to pull down. And they look good. So
I'm about that life.
They basically say outright, if you don't own the DVDs, do not download these videos. But if you own the DVDs, you're more than welcome to just get an upscaled version of it.
Yeah.
I bought the Voodoo versions, but they were on sale. So,
what's Voodoo?
The digital copies. Like when you redeem your copies of movies in either from Ultraviolet back in the day when you bought a DVD.
Okay, with a code.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, Voodoo is a place where you could buy and rent movies too.
Yeah.
There was a DVD, was it, or it was the Blu-ray of the movie Sunshine, and there was a mistake that was made on the disc, and the only way you could I forget what it was. I can't remember if it was something to do with maybe commentary or I don't know. There was an error in the disc. You couldn't get through a certain menu on it or something like that. But if you had the code, I remember they would send you like an updated MPEG or ISO of the disc or something like that back then.
Of the DVD or the Blu-ray?
I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the two.
That was an underrated movie. I love that movie.
That is a great movie.
Was it called?
Sunshine.
I'm not familiar with that.
Chris Evans.
The best way I could describe that movie is like it would be like the Event Horizon meets gosh damn it, Armageddon, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's
it's a smart.
The thing
movie.
is, it's cinematically brilliant. Like whoever did the cinematography for that movie is just great.
Cillian Murphy's in it. Michelle Yeoh, Rose Byrne.
And that dude that always plays every kind of race there is.
Oh yeah, Cliff Curtis, that guy, right?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah,
yes,
he's like in everything.
I think in real life he's Maori though, isn't he? I think he's like Maori in real life.
He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, he's Maori. I knew it.
Cliff Curtis. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the guy who plays every race there is. He plays Mexican thug, terrorist.
Right.
Terrorist /
I remember him from Training Day, right?
With when he had all the tattoos and stuff.
Was I in Last Airbender?
I don't know. Last thing I remember him in was Walking Dead. I think he was in
the Fear of the Walking Dead.
That's the last thing I remember seeing him in.
Where he finally played a good guy for a change.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, Levy. That's a really good science fiction movie. It's like one of those, like I said, it's like a smart science fiction movie. It's not like everything's on fire. We don't know what to do. It's like a lot of science and stuff in it.
Yeah, like it definitely shows you how hard space is, just in general. Like the way people die in that movie is so sad and messed up and beautiful all at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, he's beautiful because it's cinematically done well. Mm-hmm.
Basically, the plot is that the sun's getting too hot or is it too cold? No, it's going out. That's right.
Too cold. Yeah, it's going out. They have to restart it.
Earth's getting, turning into an ice age. Yeah, so they send ships to deliver some type of like nuclear payload to try to start it back up again. The nuclear chain reaction that the sun has, and that was their mission. And it doesn't. They run an amok of things, scientifically and psychologically.
I see.
Good movie.
Yes,
that's
even the soundtrack was actually really good too. The soundtrack.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies too. Back in the day when it came out. So let's see what's left. There was Stranger Things. How do you guys feel about this season? I guess this the last season.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the last season. Did I hear that was the last season or not? I don't know. But I mean, so far I don't really know too much about it. I mean, this trailer didn't really do much. I guess it's just implying that we're gonna look more into 11's past, maybe. Because I mean, it was all this trailer was just showing the kids playing and using their abilities and stuff, and then you see Matthew Modine's character from the back. You don't actually see his face. We see him walking into the room. and he talks to the kids, but then you hear sounds of distress or whatever, and then the camera turns around and shows 11's room, or at least the door to a room, and then you just hear him say, 11, are you listening to me, or whatever, and that's it. So couple that with what we saw at the very end of the last season, where it looks like Jim Hopper is being held prisoner in the Soviet Union. So I don't really know what to think of this. What's coming? They really haven't given us too much.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know how he ended up in the Union. Was he transported there? Was he taken there by evacuating Russian soldiers?
Yeah, that's a good point. How the hell did he end up in?
Is it a time travel thing?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was teleported there, because what happened, but we won't know.
Teleportation, time travel, parallel dimension.
Yeah,
be one of many.
Yeah, could be anything with a show. I
guess we'll find out. All right. Yeah. So all the trailers. What's that? What? All right.
No, I said I'm eager to find out.
Yeah. I wonder if Matt Modini is going to help Elle in that segment go through a vision quest.
More monsters. Monsters. Give me more monsters. Yeah.
If what's the guy's name again who ended up in Russia?
Jim Hopper.
Yeah, Jim Hopper. That probably explains how he becomes the Red Guardian in the Marvels.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly how it happens. It's canon,
that's funny,
dude.
I never made that.
That's 100% canon. I remember reading that like way back when. Yep, that's exactly how it happens.
That means that Stranger Things is in the MCU.
Exactly. Yep.
That's how the mutants were formed. And Mephisto.
Yeah, you got it. He's from the Upside Down. Yep.
That's right.
You nailed it, Yule. 100%.
I knew it. My theory's great. It's canon.
So that's all the trailers. I have been watching some cool stuff. I watched all of Invincible. Did you guys watch Invincible at all?
I did. I ended up liking it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode and I haven't watched any since, and I've been meaning to get on it.
So therefore we cannot talk about it since I don't want to spoil it for you, Levy. It's a good show. It covers
it is.
I think Josh said the first 13 issues of the book. But yeah, it ends on a pretty good note. I've been reading the trade paperbacks too. I think I'm volume 5 now or 6 or something like that.
So do you like them better than the first time reading them?
Because I got through the boring beginning part because I knew what was going to eventually happen. That happens in the show at the end of the first episode, and that wasn't until issues and issues later. So I've caught up to that, and I was like, all right. So I kind of read whatever through everything, and got more toward the good parts of the comic. But it's good. I watched the whole first season of God of High School. That was an anime. It's good. It's starts out kind of like a tournament fighter type of game genre anime type of story, and then it turns into a Fatal Fury type of thing with a team fighting stuff, 3-on-3 type of stuff. Then it turns into this really weird Final Fantasy type of stuff. It gets really demons and gods and all powerful type of stuff, and it's good. It was a lot better than what I thought it was. The animation is beautiful in it, and it's a really good story to it too. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would, because like I said in the beginning, it's just kind of oh, this is a tournament, these guys are fighting, this guy does this style, this guy does that style, this girl is that, and and then it kind of changes up and gets weird and cool. I'd recommend that. Also been watching.
You know what, Jed?
What?
Speaking of anime, I actually did watch Demon Slayer the movie on last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. Have you been watching Demon Slayer too?
Brother Kyle's been insisting that I should watch it.
Oh, you must. I insist.
I haven't watched one episode of it.
Good thing
Is
is
it good?
it's on Netflix. Yes, it's
that
great.
good? Okay. I just remember seeing somebody in like a boar's head or something, or like
Yes,
and
that character's funny.
yeah. I remember seeing like the figures of that on Ami Ami, and I was like, is this show for me? Is it? And I'm like, I never checked it out, so but I will. I got two opinions. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, continue.
I've been watching that. That's okay. That's why you're here, to interrupt me and talk about other things that are cool. It's got to be interesting. You gotta just be me and Levy arguing all night about something.
I'm on an anime kick too, bro. I watch anything with Slayer in it. I've been watching a Goblin Slayer, Demon Slayer.
I listen
Goblin
to Slayer,
by the way, is really good.
I listen to Slayer while I watch this anime about Slayers.
And the Rising of the Shield Hero, really awesome stuff too, man.
Rising of the Shield Hero. I think I heard about that too. Have you watched any of that Fate anime?
Fate Stay Night, not yet. And the only reason why I didn't, oh man, okay, so every time I watch that anime or that thing gets brought up, it reminds me of a very awkward moment I had at Comic-Con. At the time, I was already probably like 24 years old, and these kids that went in line next to me, they're probably 16. One of them was a really voluptuous for her age girl and her gay best friend. They're both dressed in cosplay. They're both dressed in that Fate Stay Night thing. And every time I think about that show, it reminds me of that really long, awkward pedo moment where I thought that was happening. Like, oh my gosh, how could you be this young and have such
great cosplay costumes?
Right. Exactly.
Where'd you get the money for this material?
Exactly.
This had to take at least a year to make.
Dude, it sucked so bad because like I had to it took all the powers of my being to avoid gazing or looking at all. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I feel real. Every time I see it, I just get like go, oh no, I better. I avoid it.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. I know it's really popular. I just haven't had a chance. Because I know there's a lot of it. There's like a lot of series of it, and it's like one of those things where you have to invest time to start in the beginning and make your way through it. I started watching Godzilla Singular Point.
Is that the anime?
Yeah, the Toho anime version. It's good. It's just, like I said, the last episode, it's a really slow burn. It's like they're taking their good old time doing a lot of, building up to the moments to get to Godzilla and stuff.
Question,
So,
like, were you a big fan of Godzilla too? And on like all the stuff that came out in the 90s?
You mean like the movies?
Yeah.
I wasn't really that big of a fan of the American Godzilla with Matthew Broderick.
No. I meant more of like the destroyers and space Godzillas and
I watched all that stuff. That was like the late 90s when all that stuff was like it was like they were starting to use like newer special effects with the rubber suit still. Yeah, I like that stuff. My favorite series is the Gamera.
Yes, the Heisei series 3. Yes. I picked up all 3 of those digitally from Google. And Google, so yeah, I watch it on YouTube.
And the Destroy All Monsters Godzilla was one of my favorites too.
Speaking of which, I enjoyed that Gamera series so much that just today, Jason Lowry sent me a link to, you know how I don't know if you guys been following me, but I collect like the chibi versions of these Godzilla figures. You know what I mean? Like the vinyl stuff.
Oh, so you saw the new ones that just came up?
Yes, and this Gamera one, the one that that you're talking about, they did one on that era, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
It's on pre-order in this one spot. I can't wait to show you the picture because it looks great.
I'm not into like the chibi stuff when it comes to like characters, but that Godzilla and Gamera both looked really good. I saw those on Ami Ami last night.
Okay, so you did see the you did see it then.
Yeah, I saw both of them last night when I was browsing. I was looking for God of High School stuff to see if Figma or if anybody made anything, and they didn't. It's still just like, how Japanese commercial stuff is. They come out with like pins, stickers, the wall art, and then they get into like statues and then figures eventually.
This thing looks great, but you're right. The gamut that trilogy was pretty good. Who would have thought that even with a lower budget than Godzilla, that it would outperform, not monetarily wise, but critically, the Godzilla series of the 90s. I thought that those Gammas were a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Gamma was like always like was like a lot more of a favorite monster movie thing for me. Godzilla was. Yeah,
like to be honest, in here.
The older like 60s, 70s, whatever, when that came out, those were really good. And I've been watching Black Clover as per Brother Kyle's suggestion. I'm like on episode 27 now or something like that. It's a good series.
Is that on Hulu too or something? Or
I don't know what it's on. I've just been pulling it down and watching it that way.
I see.
I don't know. I don't know what that might be on. Probably Netflix. I'm assuming. I got him to. I kind of been prodding him lately to go back and watch the end of Berserk.
I love that series, dude.
He hasn't watched the Netflix movies came out. There's 3 of them, right? And it's like the whole golden egg like story. And he watched the first 2, but he never watched the 3rd. And I'm like, that's where everything comes together.
Together, yeah.
It's like you just saw like the normal stuff that was good, but you didn't get to the ending that made Guts who he was.
Yeah, pretty much. Heck yeah. Guts became a cyborg pretty much.
Yeah, basically with my hauls, I got all those anime volumes. I bought like all 7 or 8 of them like last week or the week before. I've been reading those.
The manga?
Yeah, the actually have it right here in front of me. It's like it is the deluxe edition of Berserk. There's I don't know if it's Dark Horse to it. Is that who it is? Let me see. Yeah, Dark Horse basically took all the manga, translated it, and they put it into these deluxe volumes. And there's
that first couple pages was so brutal.
Oh yeah,
like him being born from a corpse, basically. Holy crap! And the art was pretty good for its time. That whole thing was so ahead of its time.
Do you know that manga is still going on? It's still writing new stories.
Yeah, I heard, and I hope he doesn't pull a George R.R. Martin. I hope he provides closure at some point before he he's not healthy enough to continue or something. Right.
Yeah, it's because that's been going 4 years now, I think, or something like that. Almost
since like the 80s.
But so that's all the stuff I've been watching. How about you, Levy?
I haven't really been watching much of anything lately. I've been playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn on my PC. So I never finished the PlayStation version of the game. So I've been playing. Actually, I've been pretty sucked in by it. I have
that's cool.
Spending pretty much all my gaming time playing that. Or I also hooked up my racing wheel for the first time on my PC. And was playing some racing games last weekend.
That must be nice.
Yeah, but I need to get new casters for my chair that actually lock because trying to use the pedals kind of pushes my chair back.
You start rolling away.
Yeah. So like I can't. So like I can keep the chair in place if I keep my left foot on the ground, but that pretty much means I can't use the clutch. So
like Flintstones racing.
Yeah, so it's still a fun experience, but like I said, I can't use the clutch.
Can't you put like wedges in your front of your wheels or something so you don't roll away?
I could. I mean, but I don't really have anything to wedge the wheels with. I mean, I can get new casters for my chair pretty cheap, so they have I get ones with locks on them. So
All you have to do is just take a towel, man, kitchen towel, and shove it right there in front of the wheel.
Yeah, I'm not one for low tech solutions.
Oh, excuse me.
So, yeah, I'm not a peasant. All right.
Excuse me. My bad. I apologize.
Modern problems.
Yeah.
Require.
How far did you get in the game?
In Horizon?
Yeah.
It's funny because I don't know how long. Like, I don't know what level you should be at when you get to Meridian. All I know is that I'm up to level 20 before I got to Meridian, which is the main Karja capital city. And from what I understand, it's still pretty early in the game. Like, I've been just doing side quest shit, and I think like max level in this game I think might be level 30. I'm already up to level 20. So
it's like that meme or that comic that you see like when you do all the side quests and roll into fight the first boss.
Yeah. And you're fucking jacked and have like all the weapons and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I already have a rare set, like a purple rare set of armor. I can't remember what it was, but and then I also have like I've already maxed out like the because like you can craft your carrying capacity. You can use items that you pick up to craft more slots for your different pouches. Like you have you have a pouch for your potions, you have a pouch for your weapon modifications, you have a pouch for your weapons, you have a pouch for your resources and stuff like that. And so you can use items that you find in the world to craft more item slots in those pouches. So I've already maxed out most of my carrying capacity slots. I've already crafted like the maximum available slots. So
that's when you get Rob Liefeld to draw for you so you can get more pouches.
Yeah, so like I've already maxed that out and everything. I've taken down a Stormbird, which is a really big, giant, freaking robotic bird that I don't think I was supposed to be able to take down at this point in the game yet, but because I'm so leveled.
Cool.
So, I mean, it was still a hard fight. I did still die like 4 times fighting this thing, but
Yeah, when I started playing that game, like right back in the beginning, there's a spot where you had to go up into the mountains, and I think it was like a snow area, and you had to like kill like 3 or 4 of those, whatever they were, like the early, the scavengers. Whatever, I forget what kind of. Yeah, that I died like 10 times during that part till I kind of figured out like how the whole the combat mechanics worked and stuff. Yeah, and I was like, okay, now I got it, because they would just kill me, and I'm like dead. I'm like, I'm like, all right, that was fun. That was like fun learning experience. And then I think I stopped right after that's what it was early in the game. It's like after you went through the training thing and you blew up, and you wake up in wherever inside the caverns or whatever. Yeah, that's where I kind of left off. I know it's real early in the game, but I spent a lot of time like going back to that underground base, like looking for more things, which was weird. Like where you started out the game, and it was, and I thought, I'm like, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll find a whole bunch more cool stuff here now that I just like, you have more things. And I think I spent too much time just like kind of splunking in there, trying to find something that didn't exist.
Well, no, there is actually a bunch of stuff in there that you can find, because a lot of
but I was looking for something like a special rare armor or something that might have been locked away originally. That's
no, not there. But there's an item that you find in there that you use to actually get the best armor in the game.
Oh, okay.
There's a power cell that you find in there. Yeah, and you need to find the 5 power cells scattered across the map to unlock the best armor. Okay, it's actually supposed to be like armor from the before times.
Oh, Iron Man. So,
well, it doesn't. It actually it doesn't look like armor from from the before times from the old world. because it looks like you're the kind of armor that you're
when you
wearing.
say it like that, you sound like one of those kids from the Mad Max movie, like your Captain Walker.
Yeah. But no, but what it does is it creates a force field around you, makes you impervious like the first few hits of damage that you take. Like you can take a hit from a Thunderjaw and not take any damage with this armor on.
Cool.
And it's got like a force field, and then you can take so many hits, and then once the power is drained on it, then you got to let the power regenerate before you can take hits again without taking damage. Because basically it just absorbs the damage before you start taking damage. So
cool.
But yeah, so you have to find those power cells.
We'll move on. How about you, Yule? Have you watched anything interesting?
Other than Demon Slayer, the movie, and just watched Demon Slayer, the movie, that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. It falls right after the first season of right immediately after the first season of Demon Slayer. And I watched The Invincibles. I'm caught up on The Bad Batch, caught up on anything Disney Plus pretty much. Let's see. Cool. As far as when I'm not caught up watching random YouTube channels, I make it a point to at least watch every single space related show once a year, period. Mm-hmm. So if you can imagine how much hours is spent watching all of the Battlestar Galactica, the new ones, and the Stargate series, and Atlantis, and Babylon 5,
that's a lot.
And Farscape, and Star Trek. Except for anything above, anything past Voyager, I don't watch. So,
I actually like the new stuff. I like Discovery. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a good story. And if you haven't,
that's because I don't own it yet. That's why I haven't watched Discovery.
It's good. I like it a lot. And if you haven't watched Lower Decks yet, that's hilarious.
Lower Decks is really funny.
It's really good.
I enjoyed the first season of Discovery.
I rewatched Battlestar Galactica probably last year sometime, and I kind of realized that they probably should have never made the last season, or kind of tied it up with a couple episodes, and that was it. It seemed kind of a waste a little bit to me, anyway.
I couldn't get into that show.
Really? That's a good show.
Yeah, I tried watching it, and I watched the first few episodes, and I'm it wasn't bad. I just didn't feel motivated to continue it.
Were you a fan of the original?
No. No.
That might have been it.
The original 70s one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's a good show. Yeah, give it a little bit, but it's definitely a good series. And I don't know about you. You probably disagree with me, but my favorite Stargate is the last one that came out. Goodness, I can't remember the
Atlantis?
name of it. Nope.
Universe or
Universe.
That was awesome. Yes, I love that one. I was pissed that it got cut short though.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Stargate. I really liked how dark it was, and it was kind of different than the main series in Atlantis. They actually finished the story off in comic books.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I need closure. I need to know what happened because I feel cheated.
It was kind of rushed, but at least they finished the story out.
I really enjoyed the fighting that was taking place between the lead military officer and Dr. Rush?
Yeah, Rush. Yep.
Yeah, that dude. That was a great dynamic.
That's the same actor from 28 Days Later. No, another 20. Is that what it's called? The zombie movie.
28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later.
The guy who plays Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's a great actor. He did a really good job in that.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Train Spotting.
No, but I have to say I actually actively dislike Stargate, and I don't know why.
It's a good series.
Starting from the movie, the first movie.
No, actually, the original movie I do enjoy. It's just the series. For some reason, I actively dislike it. I don't remember why.
It's MacGyver.
Probably MacGyver.
MacGyver.
I don't think it was MacGyver. I think it was like the that guy with the thing on his forehead.
Teal?
Oh, Teal'c.
Is that his name? I don't know.
Yes, no.
He was like
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jed. It's funny because I share the same sentiments as Levy. I refused to watch Stargate before because of Teal'c. It's like, what is this brother's problem? But
It's
as I
like,
watched the show, it turns out he became one of my more favorite guys. Especially,
he's like the Worf of Stargate.
yeah, Worf meets Data or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. At least as far as the face is concerned.
Indeed.
Just not as cool as Worf.
Here's the thing, Levy. If you decide to actually, push through and watch the Stargates, right, and you actually somehow find a way to do it, right, what ends up happening is once you get to finally watch Atlantis, there's an epic duel that takes place between Teal'c and the character that Jason Momoa plays, and you're like, wow, this is an actual. The payoff for that episode is so dope.
Ronan.
Yes,
I loved his character when I was watching that back in the day.
Yeah,
because he brought that like Han Solo attitude toward the science fiction universe that they are in. Because he was just like, what is this garbage? He's like, this is all bullshit.
It was nice to have a meathead in the dynamic.
Yeah,
and that was him.
Yeah, because the other soldier dude that they had that like got, what was he, infected with something or whatever?
Lieutenant,
and then
Ford.
Yeah, and he got super strength and stuff. It didn't pull it as much as having like a big dude with like just like dreads like running around like a predator, killing people
with his awesome gun, sidearm.
Yeah, I miss those shows.
I agree.
Like the series.
But here's the problem, Levy. The problem is when you get used to how the technology gets better on the way they shoot the show from, I believe, season 8 and above. When trying to watch the first seasons, it's so hard to watch because you're like,
it's hard to go back. The same thing as Star Trek. It's hard to go back to season 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I got a couple of news things. I kept it light because all the trailers that we had. Like I said, mentioned earlier, Castlevania will be coming out this week, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition will be coming out as well on May 14th.
Anticipating that.
Is that based on the first Mass Effect?
Well, it's all three.
It's remasters of all 3 games.
Yeah, they remastered all 3. Like they went all in on it. They did 4K and they redid all the textures. They fixed a lot of things that were. It has all the DLC. It's like, and it's coming out
except for one. It doesn't have all the DLC. Pinnacle Station, because the original code for it got corrupted.
Oh,
and so they weren't able to retrieve it.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it's coming out on PlayStation and Steam and everything all at once
and Xbox.
On the 14th.
Yep. They actually made a lot of changes to the first game to bring it more in line with the second and third. Like a lot of quality of life changes.
Fix the elevator speed.
Well, yeah, because you don't have to worry about load times really anymore with the new next gen SSDs and PC SSD technology and stuff like that. So, and I guess even with the PS4 and Xbox One, they load a lot faster now. So,
sure.
But a lot of quality of life changes. They also changed like the physics of the Mako, that land vehicle that you drive on when you're on the surface of planets and stuff. So they made it easier to drive. So they changed up like the combat in the first game, like I said, to bring it more in line with the second and third. So they put a lot of work into this. So I'm very, very eager for it. Hello?
I'm down to watch people play it. I'll watch it on somebody play it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you love sci-fi, like all those sci-fi shows, this is like right in that same vein.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So,
the thing is, I just never had the patience to play them. But I would watch other people play it if I,
That was BioWare, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
It was originally made by BioWare. I don't know who's doing. Is Bio? Yeah, I think BioWare is doing the remaster.
They did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So
the I saw an article. It said like there's like they enabled like better Mako controls, and the article said like you can still disable that if you want to if you like pain.
Yeah.
Because I remember how shitty that thing drove.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, I fell and died again off the cliff. Let's see. What was some other stuff? Tom Cavanaugh and Carlos Valdez are exiting The Flash after season 7 is over.
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess Tom Cavanaugh actually already did leave as a series regular. He did. He had stayed on season 6.
Yeah, he had stayed on because of COVID. No, he was reversed. Yep, he was the professor. Yeah, he was supposed to leave, but then they because of the COVID delay and stuff, he stayed on to film a couple. He's going to do a couple more like cameos, but as a series, regular. Yeah. And Carlos Valdez, he plays. Go ahead.
Not Ramon.
Go ahead.
Fuck, I can't remember his name.
The long hair.
Vibe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but what's his name? I'm not made up name.
Nope, I'm not telling you. Interrupted me this time. I'm not telling you. You can look it up. Do your penance.
Penance there.
So his contract is over, so he's out. He's leaving. I don't blame him. I've been watching some of the episodes lately, and they're not that good at all.
Yeah,
they're bad. So I've been I skip a lot of through the show just to kind of say like I've seen parts of it and I get it, and it's just out of the acting is kind of turning shitty too. So, but yeah, and then rumor mill. There's a rumor going around that they're going to reboot like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters for the MCU.
Oh yeah,
and they're probably going to bring in some of the same cast members for those same exact roles. Except that they're going to be kind of like a soft reboot of the character, because they've basically said like the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show is like, not canon. Yeah. It's like, like a legacy thing.
Yeah. Are they going to bring Coulson back?
I don't know. It's rumor. So they said that some characters I'm thinking it's going to be more like Quake and Deathlock and, some of the major characters like that had some type of comic presence.
Wait, Deathlock was in the show?
Mm-hmm. Actually, the guy that played in Angel, what was his name? He was in
David Boreanaz.
No, the black dude, the real tall black guy. What the hell was his name now? I forgot his name. Gunn? Was it Gunn? I think it was.
On Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gunn. He played Deathlock in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Daisy Ridley, of course, playing Quake.
Daisy Ridley.
Or not Daisy Ridley. My God, how did I screw that name up? I'm thinking of Star Wars. Yeah. I was thinking of Star Wars, like, novels.
I know who you're talking about, though.
Her name kept changing in the show. It's so annoying.
Yeah. She's actually going to be in the new...
Daisy Johnson.
Yeah, Daisy Johnson. That's where her character's name was.
Guy.
Chloe Bennett is her name, the actress's name. She probably, have a feeling, might be coming back. She's actually going to be in the Powerpuff Girls movie or show that's coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any interest in that at all.
Nope.
No, me neither. But she's going to play like the adult version of is it Daisy? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the rumor. The other rumor, which was quite interesting, is that in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they're going to be going through all these different multiverses and stuff. But one of them is going to be Earth 616.
Oh, yeah?
So they're going to be like in the comic book multiverse, like, dimension. So it'll be like Earth 616, like version of their heroes and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But that's rumor. So they're not quite sure. Nobody really, everything's under wraps, but yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Kind of like in the one Spider-Man episode when he came in to the real world and the whole Spider-Verse thing that they did in the 90s.
Yeah.
I met Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's all I got for the news. Weird news, Levy. Do you have any weird news?
Yeah, I have a couple pieces of weird news.
Lori was talking about one. You were Yule. You were talking earlier about Mystery Men.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story about a guy. He took his dad's ashes and put it into a bowling ball and bowled a perfect 300 game with it.
Nice. Like Janine Garofalo's character, Baby Bowler. Yeah. That's awesome and creepy.
More stories? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If it's true, yeah. Get any more carnivorous deer story? I'm actually looking. I was hoping you had some type of follow up for me.
No.
Carnivorous goats.
Jeff Goldblum is doing a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
He plays?
Excellent.
Yes, he plays an elven sorcerer named Balmer.
What edition, though?
I actually posted a picture in the chat there of his character.
He looks like him.
Of course he does. It's Jeff Goldblum with pointy ears and tattoos. He'll be joining Dark Dice, an actual play D&D podcast that began in 2018. It's about a group of adventurers who embark on a journey into the ruinous domain of the Nameless God, according to the official site. His character Balmer will make his debut on May 12th, which is 5 days from now, or the time of recording, when the series returns to begin its second storyline. If you don't know the podcast, it sounds pretty rad already. Deadline says it features immersive soundscapes, a diverse international cast, and an original soundtrack featuring an orchestra, over 30 medieval instruments, and a live choir singing in Infernal, Icelandic, and Elvish. Still, the addition of Jeff Goldblum is quite the coup.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I would
cool.
actually like to hear, because his voice is awesome. Just the way he speaks, his cadence, everything. He's just a treat to listen to. So I would definitely want to hear him play Dungeons and Dragons.
I think I watched that scene in Thor Ragnarok where him and Thor like first meet up. Yeah. You know, it's like probably one of the, like, just watch it over and over.
I know, right? I don't know about Thunder, but is that Sparkles? Like when he called Asperg. I do pardon you from life. Oh my god! The slaves are revolting. I told you I don't like that word. Fine. The prisoners with jobs are revolting. He was so great in that movie. Yeah.
There was a rumor going around somewhere that they were gonna think about doing some type of I don't know if it's gonna be like a one-off or maybe like some type of cameo with him and Bianco del Toro doing like a kind of like a thing together.
Hopefully it's Sicario Part 3.
Yeah. MCU needs to bring back the Grandmaster. He was just fantastic. So.
I can't remember what director it was, but someone mentioned that there is so many more things that are in part of Phase 4 that we're not even aware of yet. Like so many projects that have not yet come to light.
The one I'm really interested in hoping to happen is the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that would be cool. Walker. That would be a great segue to have that whole thing set up. I would like to see that a lot.
Yeah, hopefully for that She-Hulk series, maybe they'll bring in Red Hulk.
Maybe. But then they need to bring what's his name back as the general.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt Ross.
Ross.
Oh no, or Timothy Roth you're talking about. Or,
no. What was the actor's name?
William Hurt.
William Hurt?
Yeah, I have to bring him back.
Yeah.
I wonder how much his acting is.
He was in Endgame, right? Yeah, he was in Endgame, but I don't know how old he is, but maybe they could just recast him. You know, they've recast before.
Yeah, so, they need to hurry up, otherwise they might have to pull that dude from Harry Potter.
All right, so for my second story, Nate Armstrong. He sent me a story about how we've possibly discovered mushrooms growing on Mars, right? So the story goes that the Mars rover, I guess, ran over this section of ground on Mars that had these like round, white round. They look like stones at first, but then like when it drove over them, they either disappeared or were destroyed when it drove over them. But then I guess a few days later, it looked like they were back, and so people were theorizing that they were mushrooms growing on Mars. So that whole story's been kind of making the rounds. But then when I looked into it further, I saw a bunch of articles debunking it and saying, no, they're not. It's not mushrooms. It's this, that, or the other thing, whatever, I guess. But they're saying like they're just rocks, and like the wind on Mars and then the dust and everything like that blowing around just makes it look like they were growing back when it was just like they were getting uncovered or covered up or whatever.
It's like when everybody's finding like the rats or like the pyramids or the face. Yeah, it's all illusional.
The face on Cydonia on Mars.
Yeah, it's funny. It's especially pointing out things like, look, there's a rat there in the rock. or what was the other one? There was like they're finding like perfectly shaped pyramid images, and it's just basically the photo being wrapped around and being panoramic. It's just they're stitching the images together to make it look, and it just does that. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that just want to find stuff like that.
Plus, humans have this tendency to find or just to see and recognize patterns, especially when there are none. Like that face on Mars, and it turned out it was just the way the shadows fell on a mountain or something.
Right. Or the hand of God in clouds.
Yeah. Or, the face of Jesus on a piece of toast.
What? That's fake? I thought that was real.
Okay. So for my third story, I don't know you guys have heard about this. I'm sure you probably did. But there's a Chinese rocket that is hurtling through space in orbit uncontrollably and is actually is going to re-enter the atmosphere. It looks like they're saying tomorrow sometime, and they don't know where it's going to land. Some people are saying that it is going to just burn up in Earth's atmosphere, but this is how heavy did they say it was? Let me see here. It is a 20-ton section of China's Long March 5B rocket, 98 feet long. That's good. It's hurtling in an uncontrolled orbit at 18,000 miles per hour after blasting off last month, carrying part of the country's new space station. Now, it's common for pieces of rockets to fall back to Earth, but this particular section has drawn concern because of its lack of control. It means they don't know where it's going to come down. So
it can crash into anybody's house and Donnie Darko us. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the chances of this thing actually harming anyone is
astronomical.
Very, very small, but it is not zero. That's like the chances of being killed by a cow.
It can happen. Whoever the poor guy is, or
I mean, most likely, if statistically, it's going to land in the ocean, most likely, because Earth is 70%
more water than
water. The surface is 70% water, so the most likely place it's going to hit is the water. But I mean, there's also a fairly good chance that it's going to hit. That it could hit land. Again, this is if it doesn't burn up in the atmosphere. But I mean, 20 tons, that's a lot of material. So
it is.
But they said it's gonna light up the sky. You'll be able to see it.
Joy.
So it's interesting. I'm interested to see.
How you can see it if they don't know where it's coming in at.
Well, I mean, people like if that are on the ground where it's coming in at are going to be able to see it.
When will they know?
They're saying you'll see it with the naked eye.
Do you know
if you're
when?
If you're at a location on Earth that will be able to see it.
Did they say when they'll know the trajectory of it?
No, they don't know the direction. They don't know where it's going to be re-entering the atmosphere or where it's going.
But they won't know like when they could identify it until they actually starts entering the atmosphere.
Well, they know where it's currently at. They're tracking it. So, but they just don't know because its path is uncontrolled. They don't know where or when it's going to re-enter the atmosphere or where it's going to strike or where it could potentially hit the surface or whatever. If it does, then so
cool.
Yeah, so they say it will hit the atmosphere, bounce around a bit, and it's correct to say most of the planet is covered by water, so that's where it will likely land. So
I'm glad I didn't put my pool up yet.
Now they said that no one has actually ever been killed by
allegedly
a piece of falling space debris.
Allegedly.
But allegedly. They said a cow was killed, in Cuba. I think they said, I can't remember. Maybe it was in Cuba. A cow was killed
after killing someone.
Piece of after killing somebody. Karma's a bitch.
Take that, cow.
That cow got what it deserved.
So
that's what everybody in Pennsylvania is saying right now. Better not put my pool up. Might hit my pool.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, that's it for my weird news.
I want to follow up of the carnivorous deer. I want to know where they're at. Keeps me up at night.
The carnivorous deer.
Yeah, I want to follow up with that story because it keeps me up at night. There's a lot of deer around here. You don't know.
That sounds exactly like the type of monsters that I would end up fighting from my first DM. I always ended up fighting like when you start off as a level 1 or 3, I'd end up fighting something like that or a jackalope.
Jackalope.
Yeah, I'll never forget the very first time I played D&D. And I never played it before, and the DM said, "Well, you're in the middle of the woods, and you hear this noise from the woods heading towards you." And I said, "Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to time it so that when whatever is heading straight towards me, I'm going to kick it like a football." And he goes, well, and then he made me roll, obviously, and then somewhere along the way, I ended up getting my leg getting impaled by a jackalope. That's hilarious. You're in massive pain, losing blood from antler wound.
Jackalope. They were just talking
a
about
bunny with antlers.
In the one group we're in Facebook, the guys were talking about how they wanted to start an adventure or start like a whole campaign like series based upon like the legality of certain things. Like if you how'd that go, Levy? Did you read that article or that Reddit post that they reposted in Facebook?
No.
You didn't read that?
No.
It was trying to think how it goes. Like basically you had to be like a or something like that. Oh, that's what it was. Is like if you had like an abandoned like a summer home, eventually a necromancer will move in. So or if you have a large pile of gold, eventually a dragon you'll bring up. So there's like there's like evil people out there that will put more money into your vault so that a dragon will be attracted to it. or you have to like make sure that you occupy your summer home right now and the necromancer doesn't come in.
That's fine.
My famous idea is always that you be an anti-ranger that basically cut down the magical forest so that you could build a strip mall with a new inn and magic shop and shop in
anti-ranger. Does that mean you're not ambidextrous?
That means I cut down forests so I can build. So I can build and build. Basically, a contractor. That's deforestation of the magical world.
I used to love the one awesome thing I really loved about D&D back in the day. Like no matter what edition it was as the from 3.5 to 4 was the different classes that were coming out, like Scout and prestige classes. And then in 4, I loved the that it was more of a tabletop / like what it would be like in a video game, except on tabletop instead. That was an interesting concept.
Like MMO mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like divine defenders, mage. Like one of the concepts that intrigued me the most was the divine striker, the Avenger. That class makes so much sense for me. Like imagine like a holy warrior that focus instead of a paladin, because when you're back in the day you were restricted to paladins being the only holy warriors really, but an Avenger, but of course it was more of a tank than an actual striker. So when you get a holy striker, the premise is pretty dope. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. That was actually one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't like 4th edition D&D, is because it was too video gamey, they said.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, as somebody who played from the old stuff, that was originally something that kind of deterred me, but I'm one of those people who never played D&D with other people anyway. I always played it with all in my head. So I bought all the books and played all in my head, and it's great.
Yeah, I like 4th edition.
I went from 2nd edition. I went from 2nd edition AD&D to 5th. So I skipped all that 3rd and 4th. I remember when 3rd came out, I remember looking at it and I was like, I think I'll stick to 2. Didn't like the way 3rd was going. But yeah, we were just having a conversation about that a show or a couple shows ago, or maybe during the campaign when we were playing on Tuesday, about how THAC0 is one thing that I do not miss.
0. Yeah.
You can tell we're old school, what THAC0 means.
Yes. And
I was born in THAC0. You merely adapted. By the time I got to 5th edition, I was blinded.
I didn't see roll 20 until I was a man.
I'm trying to remember. Did they use D20s at all in the White Wolf games?
No, White Wolf games were all D10s.
Shit, D10s. Okay.
Yeah.
All percentages. Okay.
Well, no. It wasn't percentages. The way White Wolf World of Darkness games work was you had attributes and abilities. Where your attributes were like your strength, dexterity, stamina, intelligence, charisma, and then they were separated into 3 categories: physical, mental, and then I can't remember what the third one was. But then below that, then you had your abilities. You had talents, skills, and something else. And so, say you wanted to shoot a gun, right? You would take. Each one of these had a rating of 1 to 5, right? And so if you wanted to shoot a gun, you would have. From 0 to 5. Like the attributes had 1 to 5, and then the skills could have anywhere between 0 and 5. So if you wanted to shoot a gun, you would take your dexterity rating. So say you had a 3 in dexterity, and then you would take your firearms skill. Say you had a 4 in firearms, so then you would take that would add up to 7. So you would roll 7d10, right? And the storyteller, the GM, would have to, or he would tell you a difficulty number that you had to roll against, ranging from 2 to 10. So you had to hit that. You had to for every die that you rolled that matched that number or scored higher than was considered a success.
Yes.
Anything was not a success. But if you rolled a 1, if any ones came up, each one of those ones would cancel out a success. Okay.
Yeah, because it's been it was such a long time since I played Vampire the Masquerade, but I do remember enjoying more of the lore of that thing than I did the
gameplay,
the actual gameplay. Like I'm still very fascinated by all the different houses and even the origins. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah,
and the premise that eventually Cain will come back to, like their version of Revelation is Cain coming back to to kill them all.
Yeah,
that was a pretty neat premise.
In that storyline, the first vampire was Cain, the biblical slayer of Abel. He his punishment from God and the mark that he gave him was vampirism. And so he became the first vampire, and he's first generation. So his progeny, he made 3 children, and they made, I believe,
the third.
the third generation. I can't remember exactly how many were in the third generation.
7. I believe it was 7, and the 7 killed.
It was more,
yeah,
I think it was more than 7, but I'm not sure. But they're called I believe the third generation are the Methuselahs, or the antediluvians.
The antediluvians, yeah.
But the second generation was all wiped out during the Great Flood. The second generation is destroyed. But there are a few of the third generation antediluvians left. But they're all, rumored to all be in torpor. They're the long vampire sleep.
The only way I know any of this stuff is because I've read Jason Aaron.
You read what?
Jason Aaron's The Goddamned is a comic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you read that, Yule?
No.
That's good. It's all about Cain before the flood.
Was he a vampire?
But for in that story?
Who's going to talk? When you guys cancel each other out, who's going to take over?
Well, no, I was fascinated by that whole thing. I thought that for a minute that the second generation, the three that were created were killed by the third generation, and that the reason why they're afraid of Cain, they're afraid of Cain because Cain was going to come back to when he learns that of the diablerie that they did was what they were afraid of.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was most of the third generation were killed in the flood. Then I know the Great Flood wiped out a bunch of them. But I think you're right. The third generation rose up against the second. I think it's been a long time since I read up on the lore on vampire. I'm more. I actually played werewolf. I collected the vampire books, but I really actually played werewolf, so I'm more up to speed with the werewolf lore and whatnot. So, what
was their revelation? Because I know that their apocalyptic story.
So the game is called Werewolf the Apocalypse, and it's when the worm rises up to finally defeat Gaia one last time. So the worm is the source of corruption and evil, because in their religion there's you have the great triad, which is the wild, the weaver, and the worm. The wild is the force of creation, weaver is the force of order, and the worm is the force of destruction. And so the wild creates, the weaver weaves that creation, that just raw creation, into the pattern web and gives order to that chaos. And then the worm was originally supposed to eventually destroy what was created, just to maintain that cycle. But the weaver went mad and trapped the worm in its pattern web. At which point, over time, the worm was twisted and became a force of corruption. And so,
awesome. Yeah, I remember the World of Darkness. They had the Immortals one, the werewolves and the vampires, and the Immortals. It was just like the Highlander. There could only be one.
That was a homebrew thing that somebody did.
Oh, was it? So it wasn't an official. Okay.
Yeah, that was a homebrew thing. The official games were Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension, Changeling the Dreaming, Hunter the Reckoning, and then they made a couple offshoots. Like they made a Mummy game, which was just an offshoot. It was a source book for Vampire, I believe. And then they also made spin-offs like Werewolf the Wild West, Vampire the Dark Ages.
If you guys ever get a chance, I hope you guys, since you guys are into the similar kind of shit that I'm into, I hope you guys read These Savage Shores. It's like a 5-issue series, I believe, and it's great. Vampires go to India, and India has their own monster. I don't want to ruin it for you because it's the art's really good. It's written by Ramvi, and I just highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best things I read all last year.
Oh, cool.
Savage Shores.
These Savage Shores. It's a quick one, but it's great. The art is great. The story is great. I hope that they one day decide to actually make a movie about it, because it would make such a great, not so much a movie, but maybe like a short television series.
Okay. Do we want to move on to toy news?
Yeah.
Okay. I have just a couple things. So let's see here. Let me post this in the chat. This is a link to the Dame Chalk. He had a post about the Dreamstar Toys slingshot. Looks like this is a colored test shot or something, I guess. But it looks good. Definitely looks like a Harrier jet.
I was surprised. I thought they were going to do like the whole all metal look. Like the all aluminum metal type of look, but I guess they changed that.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this, Yuld? What do you think?
Looks great. It's just, sadly, it's just one of those things I'm not going to end up getting because of no more space in my stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, this thing, like it's going to be a big boy when he's fully combined.
Yeah, the jet portion looks pretty good too, and the robot mode looks pretty good.
Yeah, are you getting it? You're not going to get this, are you, Jed?
I don't know. I was like originally thinking about getting it, but because I wanted to, because it was going to be different, like all die cast, kind of shiny, metally. It doesn't look that way now. It's going to be. I don't really kind of look the way that I don't like the way this looks. I like the alt mode. I think the alt mode looks great, but I'm not too sure about the robot mode. Is it? Do you think, like, looking at these like closer pictures, like, is it like mostly die cast or is it like a plastic still?
No, it looks like it's all plastic. I don't know how die cast would work with a combiner. Like,
it would not
weight
do good. Yeah, the way it mess things up.
Alone would be.
Well, isn't like a Solar Chokin and Voltron kind of that way, or the Zord?
Yeah, it's small.
The Zords they made
are not big. They're only about as I think they're only about as big as maybe not much bigger than Masterpiece Optimus Prime.
Oh, really? I didn't think I thought they were at least like maybe 16.
No. Yeah, no.
Inches.
I don't think they're that big.
Then I am wrong.
This thing looks good for a non-masterpiece looking thing. It's like a nice classic.
It's supposed to be masterpiece, right?
I mean, if you talk about scale, not scale, yes, but as far as the MP aesthetic, it's nowhere near it.
Yeah, well, it's not slavishly G1.
Yeah,
it's more definitely stylized, kind of like along the same lines as the Kang Toys Predacons.
And
I like that about it. I don't know. If it's built like a Kang's Toys, then maybe I would get it.
And those toys look good. They look like they're built well, hefty.
They are. They're built really well. They're really, really tight joints and everything. And they're solid. Like they're solid, like really, really well built. Like they're heavy and like I put them like in like 1 foot high kicks and stuff, and they're balanced well. Those are built really, really well.
Yeah. So speaking of Kang Toys, they released an image of their Razor Claw. Actually, it looks. I guess these are renders.
Looks so good.
Yes, those are renders.
Yeah, so
Zoid.
Razor Claw both in beast mode and in robot mode. So definitely a very stylized look for Razor Claw.
I like it. It's like Jason mentioned that it looks very much like the Flame Toys. Help me out, Leo Convoy. Leo Convoy, is that right?
No, not Leo Kaiser.
Leo Ducks. What? Oh, you mean like the thing that from the thing that oh my gosh, the white one?
Yeah, but the Flame Toys version of it.
Victory Leo.
Victory Leo.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that does look like a Victory Leo, actually.
Let me get that image. It looks really a lot like it. Let's see.
It actually kind of reminds me of the Zoids Liger Zero.
Exactly.
With the either the Panzer armor, or if you were to turn those guns backwards and have them facing backwards, could remind me of the Liger Jaeger.
There you go. I put the image in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing looks
I mean, the legs
great.
the legs and everything look the same. You see the venting and everything on the upper part of the leg. It looks identical.
Mm-hmm.
No, I dig it. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I agree. It's kind of the way the new Battle Cat is designed.
Oh yeah, it has the same type of like stylization to it.
Yeah, I like it. By the way, I don't care. A lot of people hate it, but I love it.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the release renders of the rest of the team just so we can see what we're getting into.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it'll look cool. It doesn't matter to me. It's like I think I had no negative thoughts about any of these figures so far, and they're all been really good.
Yeah.
And I dove into it. The reason why I liked and why I got them was because they don't look G1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want blocky, Predacon. I like this whole team being, very much, like there's somebody in there driving it around. It's like a more of a vehicle than Zoid, more of a vehicle than it is a thing, a transformer.
Not gonna lie, that's exactly why I like the TFC one back then when they were doing it over the
Well, this is TFC, so it is TFC, so I can see why they have the same similar, design.
Has that been confirmed that Kang is TFC toys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Long time ago, back when they put their promotional video out, it was like, hey, this is us. We did this and that, and here's look. And the guy had the stuff on the desk, and he's like, we have all these different engineers from this place, and like somebody from Hasbro is here, and yeah, they basically laid it all out there. Can't wait. Who's left?
Headstrong.
That's it.
And potentially that new gorilla character that they had teased.
Yeah. If that pans out or not. If they still stick to the Toy World designs or not.
Yeah. I hope Maybe. So, because I'd love to see a gorilla. I love robot gorillas.
That was the one one of the few awesome things that the MMC thing did when they had the 6th secret member.
Yeah, what did that turn out to be?
Catilla?
Yeah, mm-hmm. What was it? What animal was it?
Just like another cat.
He was supposed to be a saber-toothed tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was supposed to be MMC's version of Catilla, the Autobot cat pretender.
I thought maybe it was like a death cow or something.
Either way, that's how I have my Feral Rex configured with all 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
How has your Feral Rex held up over time?
I haven't touched it because I'm afraid that it's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
I leave it posed as is and just leave it.
I was moving mine around the other day, just trying to, because like all my combiners are just like have been standing on the floor, and so I picked up Feral Rex to put him on a shelf just to get him out of the way, and he seemed a bit fiddly.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, remember the one that was made by that Dinobot combiner that was non-Toy World? I forgot what he's called.
G Creations?
Yeah, the G Creations one.
Yeah.
That thing, I once I got it to stand up, I left it alone and never touched it again. And I'm afraid that if I breathe on that thing the wrong way, it'll just thing. So I have it been chilling on perched where it's been perched since when it first came out back in 2015. Yeah. 2014, 2015. Yeah, so he's been chilling on the same spot since that time, and I've never moved him.
All right. So that's it for toy news. I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else either.
So, do I want to go into Q&A?
Sure.
Do you have any questions? I think I only saw that one question.
I haven't looked. You made the post, so do tell.
Let me see here. Oops. Okay. All right. So, don't have any other questions. So, looks like we only have the one question. So, and this is from SLB Vlog, our good friend Josh Lawrence, hater of all things RGB. He says, first things first. Hi, Yule, and the distinguished gentlemen at the Nerds Have Spoken. Wait, wrong podcast. Anyways, My questions arise from viewing of the geek culture, be it television or movie. What is the difference between an Easter egg and fan service? Is it because Easter eggs are more fun to find and some fan service is groan-worthy? Jed, how's it going reading Invincible? Levy, fuck RGBs, and Rob Liefeld. Cheers.
Yeah, you should make it like an RGB Rob Liefeld for him.
I always thought that Easter eggs were trying to be more subtle versus fan service, which was more overt. At least that's
Yeah, I think that's a good description of it.
Yep.
Easter eggs, you're meant to hunt for them. You have to look for them. They're not going to like be sitting there staring you in the face.
Yeah, gotta be a Gunter.
Yeah.
Right, Yule?
Yep. Yeah, Gunter, exactly.
Yeah, like fan service is meant to slap you in the face and say, "Hey, I'm referencing this. Yay, be happy."
I think
see what I did there? You see?
Yep. I think probably the worst example and probably the best example of fan service, it was in the X-Men 3 movie when had the Juggernaut go, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Because the fucking YouTube video was so popular, they threw that in there. That was certainly not an Easter egg.
Yeah.
That was fan service, and that was terrible. The whole movie was shit, but that was probably the worst part of it.
There were things that were worse in that movie.
It was a shit movie, but I mean,
it was a shit movie.
Probably the worst movie of the whole X-Men movie.
Well, did you see Dark Phoenix?
It was better. Phoenix was better than that. It wasn't much better, but it was definitely like a sliver better. A sliver.
Yeah. I mean, did you see Apocalypse?
I did, but it's still better than X-Men. Yeah.
What's a good example of an Easter egg?
Oh my God, there's so many.
That's why I'm having trouble here.
Jeez.
Easter egg, I think, would be, maybe I'm wrong, but I guess wouldn't Easter egg be more of the name of the school in Invincible, the Reginald Vale Johnson High School? Yeah,
that's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or when they showed One Punch Man in Invincible when he was in the tryouts for the new super team.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. I got to watch that again.
Yeah, that's an Easter egg. There's too many. Yeah, there's too many examples of an Easter egg. But yeah, something that's just put there. That's like, it's just for someone who has some, knowledge about some other media or part of the story of something.
And a good eye, because like a lot of them you have to,
right.
You have to really be looking for them because they're only on screen for like, a second.
I know James Gunn always said that he put a ton of Easter eggs in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and not everyone has found all of them.
Yeah.
Well, now the hard part is like what would be a movie with fan service on it then?
Oh, I mean, Ready Player One, obviously. That's all about fan service.
I disagree. What would you? Why? Because it's cameo of every type of movie franchise.
Oh, it's not cameos. I mean, the whole very nature of it is fan service. I'm not saying it's bad, but I mean, its whole concept is 80s pop culture references.
I don't agree because I think the story is based around that. Whereas I think fan service is something where, something is like let's say it's a comic book movie, right? And it's like very like well known, like say if there's a fastball special in X-Men, right? Like, but they actually do it and they call it out, or like Avengers Assemble, that's fan service. I think Ready Player One, even though it's like you're saying it's fan service because that character and that world was kind of based around what the one main character kind of liked because he left all that money there.
So you're saying that fan service doesn't serve to move the plot forward?
I would say that I think an example of fan service, what I think is fan service, is like that one shot in the sequel of Endgame where all the females just happen to be
there you go
shot together.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's
yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. But yeah, okay. Ready Player One was.
But then you also have anime fan service too, which is all just like ass and titties.
That's like the core of anime.
Ass and titties. Ass and titties. Ass and titties. No, I get your objection to that. So that makes sense. I guess, it's like it doesn't, like, fan service is there to reference something, but doesn't actually move the plot forward. Like the plot itself could move forward without it.
I'll give you a good example of fan service. Player One that was like put there for fans, right? When they were in the club and they had to escape, they used the whatever there was. What's that?
Mechas Cube.
Yes, and then when they went back in time, it had that little bit of a soundtrack. Back to the Future, the ding-a-ling-ding. That's fan service, right? Or would that be an Easter egg?
No, I would say that's fan service.
Okay.
Well,
none of that happened in the book.
Yeah, by the way, none of it did.
Yule hates that movie, by the way, Levy.
I do, and here's the reason why. I'm pissed off about it only because the book was made for Gen X, while the movie was made for the millennials. So my expectations were, but at the same time, I had to understand. If they called it a different movie like Oasis instead of Ready Player One, then I would have bought into it. But yeah, Ready Player One.
Carl Smallwood from Fact Fiend also hates the movie.
When you first started watching it and they changed the whole thing up to like a big race in the beginning, did you like that race part, or did you that's the point where you started hating it?
That was one of the what the hell are they doing moment. Yeah, like I was so stunned. Yeah.
But did you enjoy it at all?
The race? Yeah. I mean, it was if I was able to dumb myself down to the thing, sure. But at the time, that's not what my mindset was different. It was very, what are they doing? This is not.
Yeah. Did you read Ready Player 2?
I did not yet.
Oh, okay.
I've been caught up in 3 other books that I haven't finished yet.
I know that world.
Yeah, and it's all audio.
I'm
sorry about that. Go ahead, Jen.
I was saying, like, I feel like I benefited from not reading the book. I was able to enjoy the movie much more. So
yeah, I definitely wish I didn't read Starship Troopers before I watched the movie either.
Oh yeah, I read Starship Troopers after seeing the movie, and yeah, it was nothing like the movie. I actually thought the book was kind of boring because really it was Robert Heinlein's treatise against like war and like war culture. So yeah, it's definitely I think a drier read than the movie was to watch.
I think the old 80s anime that they made is closer to the book with Starship Troopers than anything in the movie.
That was a great series too. I enjoyed it. The soundtrack and everything. 6 episodes of brilliance.
Of what, the anime?
Yeah, the anime from the 80s. Okay. I loved it. Yeah. The book, what made me sad was I expected to see a Filipino as a protagonist because that's how the book ended. I was like, wait, what? I've been reading about a Filipino the whole time? This is great.
Johnny Rico.
Yeah, Johnny Rico. Yeah. And then we get Casper Van Dien. I was like, damn it. You could have at least gotten Dean Cain to play him.
Talking about Casper, you, Levy, and maybe do you guys watch that whole Mortal Kombat web series that was out like 10 years ago?
I did not.
I may have, and I just forgot. But
he was Johnny Cage in that.
Was he?
Appropriate.
Yeah, that was the one with 6 and 9 played Sonya Blade, and they were trying to do things like more real world.
Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan, yeah.
7 of 9. I love her.
Sorry, 7 and 9. Whatever.
I'd love to 6 of 9 her. Resistance is futile, girl. That's what I would have told her.
That's funny.
They were doing an interview, and I was they were saying something about how They're like, oh, so how'd you get involved with the project? She's like, oh, I'm just like kind of doing this for a friend favor.
I can never get enough of her. I wish they put her in more anything. I'd watch anything she's in.
She was in that Dracula movie. Do you remember that?
I know. I'll never forget it because it's one of the few things that she was in. So tabs of all the stuff she's in.
You know who else was in that movie?
No.
Singer Vitamin C.
Who?
The singer Vitamin C. She sang that graduation song.
I have no idea who or what that is.
Jesus, you need to get with the times, dude.
The Times? Wasn't that like 20 years ago?
Yeah, it was 20 years ago.
That was like 2000 that movie came out, I think.
I know. I was like, holy crap. That's a whole adult lifetime ago.
Yeah. Someone shared a picture of the two characters from DS9. And I never really watched DS9, so I don't remember who they are. But they were like, I think maybe it was like, who is the chick with the symbiote in her? Oh, yeah.
Farrell, something Farrell.
Nicole, which one? Are you talking about Jadzia?
Yeah, Jadzia.
Yeah, and the chick that played the Bajoran in the series.
And a visitor.
Yeah, they showed pictures of them like from like last week or whatever. They're like still hiking together and stuff.
Yeah.
And they look old, and gray.
Well, actually, Man, the Visitor still looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that one.
Even though she has gray hair now, she looks pretty good.
You watch the Did you watch the behind the thing from the DS9 documentary?
No.
It's in YouTube. It's pretty cool. It's about how the actor what DS9 meant to the community and how the actors were talking about what they meant for the community to the series, because they were the odd Star Trek. They were like, wait, how are we Star Trek but we don't get to go nowhere? You know what I mean? We're in a space station. How does this premise even work? Kind of situation. And now you just gotta see it. It's actually a pretty good documentary, and Nana Visitors does still look pretty good. There, the only person I think that didn't look so good as they were aging was the dude who played Garrick. No, not Garrick. Sorry about that. The other dude. Oh my gosh, Gul Dukat. There you go. The guy who played the Gul Dukat. Yeah, he was looking kind of grisly. Everybody else, Armin Shimmerman, and they all still look pretty good.
Yeah. I always liked Esri.
Yeah, she was hot.
Nicole DeBoer.
Mm-hmm. I've ever since her appearance in that movie Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Cube.
That first 15 minutes or first 10 minutes messed me up when I first saw it. I was like, wow, holy crap.
Yeah, I liked that movie a lot. The cool part about it is that they only used one set for that whole movie. They just changed the inside or the lighting of it and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense because the Cube does the
I was watching the Mr. Sunday movies, and they were talking about Saw, and they basically said the same thing about Saw. There was like hardly any sets at all that they used, and the budget was like really super low.
And they made $1 gazillion from that franchise, from that movie.
Yeah, I think
still making money with Chris Rock.
Yeah, because that new one's coming out soon.
You know who from Star Trek didn't age well?
Which Star Trek? The very first one?
Well, just the Star Trek actor. Freaking Jennifer Lien.
I don't know who that is.
Who did she play?
She played Kess on Voyager.
Oh.
Yeah, she actually got into trouble with the law, and she did not have very good career after Voyager and American History X.
Who was she in her American History X again?
She played their sister.
Oh yeah,
Ed Norton and Ed Furlong's sister.
That's right.
So, but yeah, she looks like from what I was reading, she led a hard life after fame left her, which is unfortunate.
No, agreed. Hollywood, it burns you out. You're like a candle that burns too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure the drugs didn't help either. So,
yeah.
Speaking of,
drugs.
You remember the actress that played Kimberly on Different Strokes, Dana Plato?
Uh huh.
She actually robbed a Las Vegas convenience store or something like that. And the guy called the police after she left. And he said, yeah, the girl from Different Strokes just robbed me.
Everybody's got a special kind of story. No matter what you got, not a lot. So what?
Speaking about American History X, Avery.
What's that?
Avery Brooks was in American History X too.
Yeah. Yep.
He said
didn't
the
do
most
much
powerful.
after. Go ahead, you. I'm sorry.
I think he said the most powerful thing in American History X was when he said to he goes, well, what of all the things you've done, the real question is, what have you done? What have you done?
Has any of it made your life better?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, that's a gosh damn great point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He didn't do too much after Star Trek DS9. He did like a movie and then he was out.
Yeah, I think so. I don't recall him doing much of anything afterwards.
I know he did like the whole what's it? I forget what, that whole thing where they got all the like the captains together or whatever.
Yeah, it was like some sort of reunion.
Yeah, I know he like kind of helped produce that or whatever. But yeah, he didn't do too much at all after that at all.
Yeah, before Voyager, he was Hawk on Spencer for Hire.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, I remember Hawk. Yeah, I used to watch that with my dad all the time back 80s.
Yeah,
and then they actually did a TV show with him called A Man Called Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lasted like a season and it was done.
Season.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, I mean, do we have it?
You bring it up there, Jed.
I said, well, gentlemen, I said, do we have anything else to cover before we call the night?
I think that's it.
That's it, brothers. I just sent the link, by the way, for that thing I was telling you on YouTube. Yeah. It's pretty good. What we left behind.
Cool. What we left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Yule, thanks again, man, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's been an honor for real. I haven't been here since like the last when you guys were still in before the hundreds, when you guys are in the 10s or 20s episodes, and that was fun. I enjoyed it back then.
We were arguing about The Last Jedi.
That's right.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Make sure we'll dial you up anytime we need another substitute.
Please. Right? I'm more than ready and willing.
Need more Filipinos on the show.
There'll be a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah, Filipinos are always the answer to what does this need more of?
Exactly.
So
you have to be careful. In Hollywood, they only take us in doses. They only have half of us. You can never have a full blown one ever. Never go full Filipino.
That's shit.
From Phoebe Cates to Rob Schneider. You know what I mean?
Wait, Phoebe Cates? Really?
Yeah. Phoebe Cates is Pinay. Yeah.
No. Come on.
Phoebe Cates.
Really?
Google her, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I Google her all the time. I Google that scene from Fast Times, man. I watch that shit all the time. I am well versed with Phoebe Cates' breasts.
Wow.
Yeah. Rob Schneider and yeah.
No, Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Filipino.
Yeah. Kurt Hammett.
Am I just learning about this shit?
You're blowing Levy's mind.
I told you, man.
He is. Mind blown. Who else?
Let's see.
This show's now going to go into the 5-hour mark.
Those are the only ones that are off the top of my head. Like the really big ones. Kirk Hammett, Phoebe Cates, Rob Schneider, Mark Dacascos, kind of.
Yeah, I am. I knew he was.
Let's see. I know. There's got to be more. Just
one more.
Let's see.
Bruno Mars.
Yes.
Kind of. Yes.
Vanessa Hudgens.
I didn't know she was Filipino. I thought she was.
Haley Steinfeld.
No.
Who's that?
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
Haley
Haley
Steinfeld. Bumblebee.
Hawkeye TV series coming out?
Yeah. She was on Bumblebee.
Interesting.
Pitch Perfect season or part 2.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah. You mentioned her already, didn't you?
Did I? I didn't know if you guys heard me or not.
The one from that one movie with that one dude from that Mads Mikkelsen.
Which one?
Oh, Dave Bautista. Everybody knows his name is a giveaway. Nia Peoples.
No, I knew she
Get
was.
out of here. Lou Diamond Phillips.
What?
Yeah,
I thought he was native.
Meryl Hemingway?
I thought he was Native American.
I did too because of Young Guns. This his Wikipedia says Phillips was born in February 17, 1962 at Subic Bay Naval Station in the Philippines, son of Lucita Umayam Arañas and Gerald Amon Upchurch, a Marine KC-130 crew chief. There you go. His father was American of Scots, Irish, Welsh, and his mom was native of Candelaria of Zambales.
Did you guys say Meryl Hemingway?
Mariel Hemingway.
Mm-hmm.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
Who? But she's like the daughter of Ernest Hemingway. So Ernest Hemingway's Filipino?
That explains it. That simp. No, just kidding.
No, her father's Jack Hemingway.
Oh, she's the granddaughter.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
That's right. So Ernest Hemingway's Filipino?
I don't know, but it would explain a lot.
the wife of Jerry Seinfeld is
Yeah, I heard about that.
Roman Gabriel. I believe he played for the Rams, didn't he?
got me on that one.
Yeah, he played the Rams and the Eagles. He's the first notable quarterback of the Filipino-American descent. That's what they say. Interesting.
Okay. All right. So we can go on forever with this.
We could.
Yeah. But all right. So does anyone else have anything?
Nope.
No.
That's it, my friends.
I guess enough's enough. We're out.